Chapter 1629. Fu Zhan and Yikong were trapped within this gigantic Buddha palm imprint. They inclined their heads and stared at the center of the palm. This was clearly a Buddha palm imprint, yet there were laws of different attributes within it. Beams of terrifying swords of light slashed down, as well as spatial tempests. This palm imprint was like a killing formation, it wasn't just a single attack. The two of them were supreme immortal emperors, characters at the peak of their cultivation bases. But right now, they still felt despair. The spectators were all deeply shocked. This governor of Lifire City, Qin Wentian, actually fused the thousands of Buddha palms together, forming a terrifying Buddha palm imprint that blotted out the sky. It rained down a myriad of techniques, even isolating Fu Zhan and Yikong's astral light, causing them to have no way to borrow the power of astral law energy to fight. Rumble, Fu Zhan clenched his fists. His body grew larger and larger, completely transforming into an ancient battle god. His fists flowed with a terrifying destructive might, rumbling as sonic booms rang out. Fu Zhan stomped the air as he roared in rage. Both his fists ferociously punched out, blasting towards the palm imprint. Two destructive punches shook the heavens and earth, causing the space within to tremble. However, the sound of Sanskrit rang out. That terrifying Buddha palm imprint continued to interweave and transform, forming a terrifying spatial gate that was incomparably deep. When the incomparably shocking ancient slaughter fist descended, the spatial gate opened wide. The terrifying attack directly penetrated through it, passing through the giant palm imprint and headed towards the void. It was actually banished to the outside world, unable to truly come into contact with the giant palm imprint at all. This scene simply caused Fu Zhan to feel despair. Qin Wentian had too many methods. He was simply a perfect individual, proficient in a myriad of techniques, able to do whatever he wanted. Yikong directly soared through the air. His sword slashed out unceasingly, slashing at the palm imprint, wanting to cleave it apart. If they continued to be trapped here, they would be defeated sooner or later. All of a sudden, a boundless amount of sword light descended from the great palm imprint. It was like a 10,000 sword formation, with Yikong as the center, the sword light shot out. Yikong's attack could not be sustained at all, and he continuously waved his sword to defend. In an instant, a storm of swords was formed around his body, which was incomparably resplendent. However, the space where he was at seemed to have become a sword tomb. Tens of thousands of swords returned to this place and slashed down. Yikong waved his sword and slashed open the void, directly passing through and leaving the battlefield, once again arriving at Fu Zhan's side. The two of them had their backs to each other, and a helpless expression appeared on their faces. They had fallen into this trap and could not break out at all. Admit defeat. Qin Wentian's voice drifted over. After that, countless arms appeared on the gigantic palm, blasting towards them. All sorts of attacks rained down on them. They continued to resist, destroying the attacks. However, terrifying rumbling sounds could be heard. The terrifying gigantic palm seemed to be about to slam down, bringing with it an endless amount of attacks, crushing towards them. Fu Zhan and Yikong both closed their eyes when they saw the gigantic palm. Fu Zhan sighed and said, "I've lost." "You've won." Yikong similarly spoke. After that, the gigantic palm froze in the air. After that, beams of law light dissipated as the gigantic palm transformed back into countless arms and returned to Qin Wentian's body. When his astral souls vanished, how could the terrifying scene earlier still exist? There was only the figure of a white-robed governor standing there, exuding an unparalleled aura. He fought against the governors and monarchs of the other 8 world palaces alone. In the final battle, he fought against Fu Zhan and Yikong, forcing the two of them to concede. Such a glorious battle record was truly something that had never been seen before. Right now, the governors and monarchs of the other 8 world palaces didn't even fight against each other. It was like all the light was focused on him alone. This man was none other than the governor of the Lifire Palace, Qin Wentian. Today, in the grand banquet of the lifelong realm, there would definitely be 2 people whose names would resound through the entire lifelong realm. One of them was none other than Di Tian, a Grandmaster weaponsmith who obtained first place in the martial competition with a cultivation base at the mid-stage of the Immortal Emperor realm. As for the other person, he was none other than the governor of the Lifire city. He was also a mid-stage Immortal Emperor and swept through the supreme Immortal Emperors of the other 8 world palaces, defeating 8 of them in a row and obtaining complete victories. Yi Qianyu was incomparably beautiful, her beautiful eyes shone with a resplendent luster as she stared at the figure standing on the towering platform. The Lifire Empyrean glanced at Qin Wentian. Great waves actually rose in his heart. This Qin Wentian was too outstanding. Back then when he made use of Qin Wentian, although he knew that Qin Wentian was powerful, he didn't expect Qin Wentian's talent to be so high. If he knew this would happen, he might have used gentler methods to treat Qin Wentian, nurturing Qin Wentian into his trusted aid. Now, Qin Wentian obtained first place, causing the Lifire Palace to not lose so much face. However, the Lifire Empyrean didn't really care about this. His mind was filled with thoughts on how he should treat Qin Wentian in the future. Naturally, the prerequisite was that the Realm Lord wouldn't ask him for Qin Wentian. Palace Lord, this Qin Wentian most probably still holds a grudge against you for what happened in the past. The Crow Emperor transmitted his voice to the Lifire Empyrean. The Lifire Empyrean frowned and glanced at the Crow Emperor. He naturally understood what the Crow Emperor was thinking. Back then, the person he sent to the Jialan Emperor city was none other than the Crow Emperor. He was the one who helped them capture Yi Qianyu. If Qin Wentian obtained power, the first people he would deal with would naturally be the Crow Emperor and the Jialan Monarch. The Jialan Monarch instantly knew what the Crow Emperor must have said when he saw the Lifire Empyrean's gaze. However, he didn't interrupt. Back then, the Lifire Empyrean had harmed him badly. Although he was a subordinate of the Lifire Empyrean, everyone knew what their relationship was like. It wasn't his place to speak. This Governor Qin isn't simple. Palace Lord, if you can gain his loyalty, he would surely be a ferocious general. In the future, if the Lifire Empyrean needs him, he would definitely be able to follow Palace Lord into battle. Beauty Zhao's eyes flashed with a smile as she casually spoke. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a bright light when she stared at Qin Wentian. She didn't expect this fellow to be so powerful. Right now, even the Lifire Empyrean's heart was stirred. The eyes of many major powers from the Lifire Palace flashed. This Governor Qin was sent to the northern city regions by the Lifire Empyrean. At that time, no one thought highly of him. They felt that he would be like the other governors from the past, being played around in the palms of the Jialan clan. However, after the battle at the ancient river auction house, Qin Wentian displayed his brilliance. Right now, in Lifelong City, his radiance was even more dazzling. If it wasn't for the fact that he had a shameful history as a bandit, it would be even more perfect. His background as a bandit would ultimately affect his future, causing the Lifire Empyrean to have to think twice before using him. No one knew what the lifelong Realm Lord would do after he learned of this matter. Jialan Yuntian and Jialan Chuyue from the Jialan clan all had complicated expressions on their faces. They didn't expect Jialan Chuyue's words to hit the nail on the head. The person who didn't come was here and he was even more dazzling than they had imagined. Before this, after many people saw Di Tian's performance, they all felt that it would be hard for Di Tian to surpass him. No matter how outstanding the northern governor, Qin Wentian, was, he wouldn't be as outstanding as Grandmaster Di. But now, Qin Wentian single-handedly defeated the 8 world palaces. Between him and Di Tian, who was a Grandmaster weaponsmith and a Grandmaster, who was more outstanding? Grandmaster Di, what do you think of Governor Qin? Jialan Yuntian softly asked Di Tian. Governor Qin's magnificence is unmatched. Di Tian smiled. He naturally wouldn't say that they were the same person. If Jialan Yuntian knew of this, it was unknown what expression would he have. Seems like this old man was wrong back then. I hope Grandmaster Di Tian won't take it to heart. Jialan Yuntian spoke again, he was actually apologizing. Di Tian started, he instantly understood what Jialan Yuntian was referring to. Back then, the Jialan clan forced him to join their faction and even held a banquet to invite him. At the same time, they also invited Qin Wentian, separating Di Tian and Qin Wentian, allowing Di Tian to completely stand on their side. Right now, Jialan Yuntian clearly didn't dare to have any thoughts of controlling Di Tian. I'm not very clear about what Jialan clan leader is talking about. Di Tian shrugged and smiled. Jialan Yuntian's eyes flashed before he smiled and nodded. However, he was thinking in his heart, would Di Tian mind what happened back then? Countless people discussed, their gazes all landed on Qin Wentian, the focus of the crowd. What would be the fate of this governor from Lifefire City? The lifelong Realm Lord laughed. Do the 8 of you still want to fight to determine the rankings? He was naturally referring to the other 8 governors other than Qin Wentian. The earlier battles had completely become a stage for Qin Wentian alone. The other 8 Supreme Emperors were all reduced to supporting characters. Before the battles started, many people felt that the governors from the Lifefire Palace were just there to make up the numbers. But now, it was the complete opposite. There's no need. Fu Zhan spoke. Since the Realm Lord asked this, he naturally wanted them to skip the battles. If not, he just needed to say that the battles should continue. The others also understood the meaning of the Realm Lord's words. All of them shook their heads, there was no meaning to continue the battles. The finale was the grand finale. Qin Wentian had stolen everyone's glory. In fact, he even stole the glory of the first ranker of the 13 rounds. Emicham, everyone can return to your respective world palaces. The lifelong Realm Lord waved his hand and smiled. Everyone's silhouettes flashed as they returned to their seats. Qin Wentian came to the Lifefire Empyrean's side and bowed to him. Palace Lord, this subordinate has not let you down. Governor Qin, it's been hard on you. Please take a seat. The Lifefire Empyrean smiled. At this moment, he naturally wouldn't blame Qin Wentian. Yes, Palace Lord. Qin Wentian no longer had the arrogance he had on the battle platform earlier. He was extremely humble now. He knew that the Lifefire Empyrean wouldn't allow him to easily see through the Lifefire Empyrean's attitude. But he understood that he should keep a low profile now. Beauty Shao winked at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian walked to her side and sat down. Beauty Shao was smiling at him as she transmitted her voice, you must be doing this for Yu Qianyu. When would you be able to do this for me? Qin Wentian rolled his eyes. Beauty Shao had a look of hidden bitterness on her face as she transmitted her voice, you have no conscience. Qin Wentian turned his gaze in the direction of the lifelong Realm Lord. The lifelong Realm Lord had a smile on his face as he spoke, the battle between the 9 world palaces Empyreans is even more fascinating compared to the previous one. Everyone, are you satisfied with the results? There are so many capable people in the lifelong realm. All of them are honored by the Realm Lord. The Sky Air Empyrean respectfully spoke. He was the Realm Lord's disciple, but right now, he still referred to the lifelong Realm Lord as disciple. They weren't selected by me. They are all chosen based on your capabilities. For those who performed outstandingly earlier, you all have to reward them heavily. The lifelong Realm Lord laughed. Naturally. Your subordinates will naturally reward them heavily. The 9 world palace lords all expressed their stance. The lifelong Realm Lord smiled and nodded. He turned his gaze in the direction of the Lifefire Palace. Such a character appeared in the Lifefire Palace, but you actually didn't allow him to come. What's going on? Could it be that you are afraid this seat will snatch your people away? Chapter 1630. The Lifefire Empyrean's gaze froze, he didn't know how to reply for a moment. Qin Wentian's situation was truly somewhat complicated, but it was impossible for him to say it out loud in front of everyone. He could only reply, this subordinate doesn't dare to. It's just that the Lifefire City needs someone to guard it. Before this subordinate ordered Governor Qin to stand guard there. Is that so? The lifelong Realm Lord calmly asked. Qin Wentian actually dared to say such an excuse in front of him. The Lifefire Empyrean had a look of difficulty on his face. But at this moment, Qin Wentian stood up and bowed to the lifelong Realm Lord. This matter has nothing to do with Palace Lord. It's just that because this subordinate's identity is sensitive, Palace Lord is worried that something might go wrong. I beg for Palace Lord's forgiveness. Qin Wentian's words caused the Lifeire Empyrean's eyes to narrow. The lifelong Realm Lord grew even more curious. Although he was the lifelong Realm Overlord, there would naturally be people who would handle the matters below him. There was no need for the 9 world palaces to report to him for ordinary matters. A mere bandit wouldn't be able to reach his ears. Hence, he had no idea about the matters between Yi Qianyu and Qin Wentian. Oh. Your identity is sensitive. Tell me about it. The lifelong Realm Lord asked. Junior is a sinner and was born as a bandit. Back then in the territory of the Lifeire Palace, the Jialan monarch was a bandit and was captured. Palace Lord disregarded this subordinate's identity and placed me in an important position. This subordinate is already filled with endless gratitude. Qin Wentian's tone was extremely polite, not wanting to offend the Lifeire Empyrean at all. In fact, he even faintly praised the Lifeire Empyrean. Although he was very impressive on the battlefield today, the Lifeire Empyrean was after all one of the 9 world palace lords of the lifelong realm. His foundation wasn't something he could compare to in a single battle. Now that he wanted to save Yi Qianyu, he naturally couldn't afford to offend the Lifeire Empyrean. Bandit? The lifelong Realm Lord's eyes flashed with a strange light as he glanced at the Lifeire Empyrean. Yes, Realm Lord. Also, back then, I followed Yi Qianyu and became a bandit. Now that Yi Qianyu has appeared at the banquet, Palace Lord is worried that I might be impulsive if I meet her. This is why he wants me to stay in Lifeire City. Qin Wentian continued. Yi Qianyu. The lifelong Realm Lord thought back to that supreme beauty from the Red Dust Immortal Palace. Her name was Yi Qianyu and she was the daughter of the Night Empyrean back then. She came here to beg for forgiveness. His gaze turned to the crowd from the Red Dust Immortal Palace, and when his eyes landed on Yi Qianyu, he instantly understood some things. The crowd revealed a strange expression. They finally understood why Qin Wentian had appeared and why he was so domineering. It turned out that this battle was for the sake of a beauty. Qin Wentian wanted to do his best to display his talent, and from there, he wanted the lifelong Realm Lord to release him. Yes. Qin Wentian nodded. In that case, you came here for her? The lifelong Realm Lord directly asked. Realm Lord, please forgive me. Qin Wentian bowed. The lifelong Realm Lord's gaze was fixed on him. Not only for the Realm Lord, at this moment, the Lifeire Empyrean, people from the Jialan clan as well as many experts were all staring at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian was a bandit, but his talent was extraordinary. He participated in the lifelong banquet and fought in such a domineering manner, all for the sake of a woman. However, this woman was truly a supreme beauty. That dance she performed caused many major characters to feel their hearts stirring, wanting to take her for themselves. Now, it all depended on the Realm Lord's decision. Would he spare Yi Qianyu because of Qin Wentian's talent? Yi Qianyu was captured by your Lifeire Palace? The lifelong Realm Lord suddenly turned to the Lifeire Empyrean. Replying to Realm Lord. Back then, Yi Qianyu was the leader of the bandits, causing chaos in the region. I ordered my men to capture her and lock her up in the prison. Because Qin Wentian was only an accomplice, he had no choice but to join the bandits, and his talent was truly extraordinary. Hence, I didn't imprison him as well and wanted him to atone for his crimes through his contributions. The Lifeire Empyrean spoke. No matter how highly the Realm Lord regarded Qin Wentian's talent, he still had to make things clear. In that case, you didn't do anything wrong. The lifelong Realm Lord nodded lightly. Has Qin Wentian done anything before? He has been the governor of the northern regions of Lifeire City for tens of years and has contributed greatly to the reorganization of the northern regions. The Lifeire Empyrean spoke. Since this is the case, Qin Wentian, you don't have to care about your identity as a bandit anymore. Just continue to be the governor of Lifeire City. The lifelong Realm Lord spoke. This sentence was undoubtedly paving the way for Qin Wentian's future. He wouldn't care about Qin Wentian's identity as a bandit anymore. As for Yu Qianyu, she is the leader of the bandits. It's impossible for me to release her just like that. Just let her stay in the lifelong Saint Hall as a servant for now. In the future, if Qin Wentian has done something great, you can come and ask me for her again. The lifelong Realm Lord decided Yu Qianyu's fate with a single sentence. Qin Wentian felt a little disappointed in his heart. When he saw Yu Qianyu appearing here, he decided to take the risk and fight, shocking everyone with a domineering battle. He truly hoped that the Realm Lord would spare Yu Qianyu. However, the lifelong Realm Lord's words were impeccable. As the leader of the bandits, he couldn't release Yu Qianyu just like that. Letting him redeem Yu Qianyu after achieving great merits was already showing him mercy. What else could he say? Many thanks for Realm Lord's kindness. Qin Wentian bowed. He could only thank the lifelong Realm Lord. In the future, give him more opportunities to gain merits. The lifelong Realm Lord instructed the Liefire Empyrean. Yes, Realm Lord. The Liefire Empyrean nodded. Seems like the Realm Lord truly regarded Qin Wentian highly. Although the Realm Lord didn't ask him for Qin Wentian, he wanted to make use of him to allow Qin Wentian to gain merits. In that case, if he wanted to use Qin Wentian in the future, it would be much more convenient. He could directly transfer Qin Wentian to the lifelong Saint Hall. Alright, everyone, there's no need to be so reserved. Let's enjoy this banquet. Next, if the 9 world palaces have any matters they need to report, they can directly come to my place. The lifelong Realm Lord smiled in a carefree manner. Everyone had smiles on their faces as they toasted to the lifelong Realm Lord. After that, the atmosphere grew livelier. The fairies of the Red Dust Immortal Palace once again floated down to the central platform and started dancing. There were also beauties playing elegant melodies. However, this time around, Yu Qianyu didn't go up and remained at her original location. Qin Wentian turned his gaze in Yu Qianyu's direction only to see that Yu Qianyu was also looking in his direction at this moment. She had a radiant smile on her face, exuding a sense of seduction. She even winked at him. Qin Wentian laughed when he saw this scene. Although she was a maid in the lifelong Saint Hall and couldn't be considered as having freedom, it was still much better than staying in the Liefire jail. Governor Qin, congratulations. Beauty Xiao saw that Qin Wentian and Yu Qianyu were exchanging glances and couldn't help but to giggle. She lifted her cup and moved closer to Qin Wentian. Her soft body was almost pressed against Qin Wentian's. Her snow-white chest was faintly discernible and was extremely alluring. Staring at the mischievous smile on her face, Qin Wentian instantly knew that this woman was doing this intentionally. Qin Wentian saw that Yu Qianyu from afar had a meaningful smile on her face when she saw this scene. Her gaze was filled with hidden bitterness. Qin Wentian bitterly smiled and shook his head, clinking his cup with Beauty Xiao. Beauty Xiao, there's no need for you to be so close to him, right? Yin Xiu's neutral voice rang out. Beauty Xiao glanced at him and pressed even tighter against Qin Wentian, almost pouncing on Qin Wentian. The Liefire Empyrean didn't find this strange. Beauty Xiao has always been like this, he didn't think too much about it. Seems like your gamble was right. With the Realm Lord's words, the Liefire Empyrean wouldn't dare to act against you so easily in the future. He would probably use soft tactics to rope you in. Beauty Xiao spoke in a light voice. This time around, I was the one who gave you this information. How do you intend to thank me? As she transmitted her voice, Beauty Xiao's red lips were alluring, revealing an extremely ambiguous expression towards Qin Wentian. This caused Qin Wentian to silently curse at her for being a vixen. Governor Qin, let me toast you as well. Before this, there were some unpleasantness between us, I hope that Governor Qin won't take it to heart. Xia Ho raised his cup to Qin Wentian as he spoke, as though he wanted to make peace with Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian calmly glanced at Xia Ho as a teasing smile could be seen on his face. Before this, Xia Ho would mock him every time they met. But now, Xia Ho actually wanted to admit defeat? Governor Xia Ho is too polite. Qin Wentian raised his cup and smiled. He didn't make things difficult for Xia Ho. He knew that Xia Ho's words didn't mean that Xia Ho had no ill feelings towards him and wanted to be on good terms with him. Even if he raised his cup in response, it didn't mean that he had forgotten about the past. Qin Wentian, today, you have truly gained face for our Lifefire Palace. Grand Governor Zhuge Xiong took the initiative to toast to Qin Wentian. Since the Realm Lord has personally spoken, they all knew that the Lifefire Empyrean would do his best to rope in Qin Wentian. Hence, there was no need for them to hold back. Grand Governor, please. Qin Wentian replied. After that, Lin Ba also came over to toast to Qin Wentian. His attitude towards Qin Wentian was extremely polite. Not only so, the major powers who came here together with the Lifefire Empyrean also came over to toast to Qin Wentian, exchanging some pleasantries, appearing extremely friendly. After the battle today, both Qin Wentian and Di Tian would become characters that no one dared to approach in Lifefire City. Only the Jialan monarch had a heavy expression on his face as he sat there, drinking alone. His countenance was pale and extremely unsightly to behold. Anyone could reconcile with Qin Wentian, but it was impossible for him. Right from the start, the Lifefire Empyrean wanted to rope in Qin Wentian. Although he was making use of Qin Wentian, his method was very gentle and he didn't have any deep grudges with Qin Wentian. Even the Jialan clan couldn't be considered to have a grudge with Qin Wentian. The only person who truly had a deep grudge with Qin Wentian was him, the Jialan monarch. Because of the grudge between him and his daughter, Jialan Mingyue, he had offended Qin Wentian greatly. Naturally, Qin Wentian and Yi Qianyu also caused him to be in a miserable state. This grudge couldn't be resolved. But now, Qin Wentian displayed such talent, and in addition to the fact that the Jialan clan wanted to reconcile with Qin Wentian, the Jialan monarch grew increasingly unhappy the more he thought about it. Given the current situation, the Jialan monarch might even express goodwill to Qin Wentian in the future. They wouldn't want to offend this supreme immortal emperor who was noticed by the Realm Lord. As he thought of this, the Jialan monarch continued to drink alone to drown his sorrows. Over at the Jialan clan's side, the spiritual character of the Jialan clan, Jialan Jiangshan, already understood the grudge between the Jialan clan and Qin Wentian. He spoke to Jialan Yuntian, do your best to mend the relationship between you and Qin Wentian. Chapter 1631. Many thanks, Palace Lord. Di Tian clasped his hands to the Lifefire Empyrean, laughing silently in his heart. The Lifefire Empyrean and his original self, Qin Wentian, had a grudge because of Yi Qianyu. He would naturally be on guard against Qin Wentian, but towards him, the Lifefire Empyrean would definitely pull him back from the Jialan clan. Seniors, you two are too serious. Qin Wentian had a sincere smile on his face. He didn't expect that he would meet someone from the Battle Saint tribe here. Ancient Emperor. The two palace lords started. They exchanged mutual glances and laughed involuntarily. Maybe it's because of the time difference. Right now, do you guys refer to him as Ancient Emperor Yi? Di Tian originally had the identity of an unaffiliated cultivator. But because he was already appointed as the supervisory commander of the Lifefire Palace by the Realm Lord, he could be considered an official of the lifelong realm. Since the Lifefire Empyrean personally invited him, Di Tian naturally wouldn't reject. The people of the Jialan clan glanced at Di Tian with some worry in their hearts, worried that the friendship they spent so much effort to establish with Di Tian would be destroyed by the Lifefire Empyrean. Before they left, Jialan Chuyue stared at Di Tian with a hint of bitterness in her eyes. Palace Lords, how are you related to Ancient Emperor Yi? Qin Wentian asked. He stared at the two before him. Could it be that one of them was Ancient Emperor Yi? Everything pointed to a single place, the Battle Saint tribe. I'm asking about your roots. That Palace Lord continued. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with a strange light, but he quickly concealed it. Junior doesn't understand what Palace Lord White means by this. The two Palace Lords nodded. After that, the two serving girls retreated. One of the palace lords waved her hand as a formless energy enveloped this courtyard, isolating it from the probing of immortal senses. The Gemini Palace Lord smiled and nodded. However, the rumors outside are all mixed. Ancient Emperor E might not be a good friend of the lifelong Realm Lord. Oh right, I saw that the palm imprint Tian used also contained a trace of the intent of God's hand, but I don't dare to confirm if that was the manifestation of God's hand. Qin Wentian abruptly stood up as a flash of lightning flashed in his eyes. Their surname was Qi. This surname wasn't strange at all. But if one connected Ancient Emperor E and God's hand with this surname, there would be a deeper meaning to it. In that case, you are indeed the successor of Ancient Emperor E? The two palace lords asked. This is what I should do. Qin Wentian was still humble. Ancient Emperor E of the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms? I'm from the Gemini Temple, and I'm the Palace Master's maid. My Palace Master has invited you over. The maid smiled, her words causing Qin Wentian to be even more puzzled. He stared at her and asked, Gemini Palace Lord, what did you invite me for? I've been to a place with 3 bronze gates. I went in. Qin Wentian still didn't dare to reveal it easily. He was still a little alert, but his words had already hinted very clearly. Governor Qin, please. The immortal emperor maidservant smiled and gestured. After that, the two of them walked forward and arrived at the Gemini Palace within the Longevity Hall. Surnamed Qi, God's Hand, Ancient Emperor E. Ancient Emperor E? Qin Wentian's eyes flashed as he asked. The two palace lords continued to place their chess pieces. After some time, one of them asked, Qin Wentian, where did you come from? Qin Wentian started. He stared at the other party and replied, Junior comes from Lifire City. Have you heard of Ancient Emperor E? The two palace lords of the Gemini Palace put down their chess pieces and turned their gazes to Qin Wentian. At this moment, Qin Wentian only felt a huge pressure bearing down on him. At the same time, his heart pounded violently as he stared in shock at the two palace lords. Qin Wentian initially wanted to look for Yi Qianyu. However, Yi Qianyu had already left with the people from the Red Dust Immortal Palace. They still needed to wait for the Realm Lord to deal with them. Although the Realm Lord spared Yi Qianyu from jail, she was forced to become a servant in the lifelong Saint Hall. As for the fact that there were bandits in the Red Dust Immortal Palace, they naturally had to give the Realm Lord an explanation. I heard that the two of you are subordinates of a world overlord. It's rumored that he is a friend of the lifelong Realm Lord. In that case, Senior Ancient Emperor E must be that Realm Lord? Qin Wentian asked. However, he had no other choice. The Gemini Palace Lord had already given the order. He could only speak to Tian, Grandmaster Xia Ho, have offended you in the past. If there's a chance, Xia Ho, will definitely hold a banquet to apologize. I hope that Grandmaster D can forgive me. Right. Fairy, please lead the way. Qin Wentian nodded. In that case, should the two of us pay our respects to the Saint Lord? The two of them exchanged glances and smiled. At the same time, they stared at Qin Wentian, causing great waves of shock to rise in Qin Wentian's heart. Our surnames are Qi. The two of them spoke at the same time. Have you heard of the two of us? The Gemini Palace Lord asked. Lifelong City arranged lodgings for the 9 World Palace Lords and their subordinates. Every 100 years, the 9 World Palace Lords would stay in the same location. The various governors and monarchs would naturally stay together with their World Palace Lords. As for the people from the other major and minor powers, they could only head to Lifelong City to look for inns or hotels to stay in. The lifelong realm is boundlessly vast, there are many experts with authority. The 9 world palaces have their own territories. All of you came from my Lifire City. In the future, no matter where you go, my Lifire Palace will always be your backing. The Lifire Empyrean spoke. It's the same for the others as well. All of you have the imprint of Lifire City on you. Ancient Emperor E, they actually asked him if he had heard of Ancient Emperor E before. Governor Qin. This maiden smiled as she called out to Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian asked in puzzlement, Fairy, you are? Di Tian, I've heard of the matters in the past. Xia Ho acted on his own and made things difficult for your Emperor Pavilion. After that, I sent Violet Moon to the central regions to settle this matter. Violet Moon should have gone to the Emperor Pavilion before, right? The Li-Fire Empyrean asked Di Tian. Di Tian glanced at Violet Moon who was beside the Li-Fire Empyrean and smiled as he nodded, thank you Palace Lord for interfering in this matter. Qin Wentian started as well. That's right, in this era, they naturally referred to him as Ancient Emperor Yi. But what if this Gemini Palace Lord was someone from the same era as Ancient Emperor Yi? It would be impossible for him to refer to himself as Ancient Emperor Yi. As he spoke, he quickened his pace and departed. The Jialan monarch's expression froze. He stared at the back view of Qin Wentian as his expression grew extremely ugly. This was a blatant threat to him. Since Palace Lord has already spoken, I naturally won't be calculative with you. As for the banquet, let's forget about it. Di Tian calmly spoke, not giving any face to Xia Ho at all. Right now, he also didn't need to give face to Xia Ho. The lifelong Realm Lord had personally appointed him as the supervisory commander and he had the authority to do so. Only the governors and monarchs would beg him for help, he didn't need to submit to any of them. Even the Li-Fire Empyrean wouldn't be able to control him. After the banquet, the music would eventually come to an end. This is what I should do. Xia Ho, in the future, you and Di Tian will be comrades. Apologize for what happened in the past. The Li-Fire Empyrean instructed. Xia Ho's expression froze. Before this, he had already submitted to Qin Wentian. Now, he was ordered to apologize to Di Tian again. This could be considered a complete loss of face. Maybe the Li-Fire Empyrean admires Governor Qin because of your outstanding talent. In any case, my Li-Fire Empyrean naturally wouldn't harm Governor Qin. The serving girl smiled. Qin Wentian nodded. This place was the lifelong Saint Hall. No matter what, there was no harm in making a trip there. How did you all know? Qin Wentian asked. Sit. The two palace lords of the Gemini Palace were still playing chess, but they spoke to Qin Wentian. Some things should be stopped when the time is right. The Li-Fire Empyrean naturally wouldn't lower his status too much. After exchanging some pleasantries with Di Tian and Qin Wentian, he allowed everyone to depart. When they exited, Qin Wentian intentionally walked together with the Jialan monarch. He spoke in a low voice, Jialan monarch, you have to be more careful in the future. Qin Wentian walked up and came to the side of the chessboard. He glanced at it and saw that both sides were evenly matched. After that, he sat down quietly and didn't interrupt. Jr. was fortunate enough to cultivate God's hand and entered the Battle Saint tribe. I'm the Saint Lord of this generation of the Battle Saint tribe. Qin Wentian spoke. He then continued, where is Senior Ancient Emperor Yi? Palace Lord is too serious. Di Tian calmly replied, neither servile nor overbearing. Xia Ho was extremely arrogant. This point could be seen from his domineering attitude towards Di Tian back then. But now, the two people he offended back then, he couldn't afford to offend either of them. Both of them had to apologize. From this, one could very well imagine how uncomfortable he felt in his heart. In a courtyard, in a pavilion under the moonlight, two figures were currently playing chess. Other than them, there was also a beautiful immortal emperor serving girl. Upon seeing Qin Wentian walking over, that serving girl smiled, Palace Lord, Governor Qin has arrived. We will take our leave first. Xia Ho's expression stiffened. The Li-Fire Empyrean acted like he didn't understand Di Tian's words. He calmly nodded, Di Tian, in the future when your Emperor Pavilion expands in Li-Fire City. If you need anything, just come to the Li-Fire Palace directly to look for me. I will naturally protect you. The World Palace Lords of the 9 World Palaces still had matters to handle and naturally had to stay in the lifelong Saint Hall. They still needed to hand over the tributes for the past 100 years. That final giant palm imprint, was it a manifestation of God's hand? A world palace lord asked. At this moment, Qin Wentian no longer had any doubts. Seems like the two world palace lords have already seen through it. In the great hall, the Liefire Empyrean sat on the main seat. He swept his gaze over everyone before smiling at Di Tian and Qin Wentian. In the battle today, Governor Di and Qin Wentian, the two of you have displayed your brilliance and brought glory to our Liefire city. As the palace lord, I also feel that I've gained a lot of face. Yes, palace lord. Everyone nodded. This Liefire Empyrean was trying to win over the hearts of the people. However, what he said was also the truth. There would definitely be countless connections between the various powers. In the future, even if they took up a position in the lifelong Saint Hall, they would still have the mark of the Liefire Palace on them. Unless one day, they became the trusted aides of the Realm Lord. Only then would they be able to completely discard the mark of the past. The lifelong Saint Hall was very vast. Each of the 9 world palaces had their own residences here. That night, the Liefire Empyrean ordered the governors and monarchs of Liefire City to give a speech and even invited Di Tian. Chapter 1632. Qin Wentian started. The palm imprint Di Tian used at the end was indeed a manifestation of God's hand, but in truth, it seemed more like a sealing palm. Those who weren't familiar with God's hand would definitely not be able to tell. But since the Gemini Palace Lords were from the Battle Saint tribe, it wasn't that strange for them to be able to see through it. God's hand was originally a manifestation of the Battle Saint art. Maybe, the Battle Saint art contained many different forms of God's hand. Hence, they were able to see through it the most. Senior's eyes are like torches. Di Tian and I are twins. I've cultivated God's hand and there's naturally no need for me to hide it from him. The two of us are the same as seniors, both of us are Saint Lords of the Battle Saint tribe. Because we might encounter unknown dangers in the supreme ancient immortal realms, the two of us decided to conceal our identities and act separately. Even if something happens to one of us, there's still someone else who can take revenge. I hope that seniors can help me keep this a secret. Qin Wentian spoke. He didn't reveal the matter about his avatar. He still had to keep this a secret. If it wasn't someone from the Battle Saint tribe, he wouldn't even admit that he had a relationship with Di Tian. No wonder. The Gemini Palace Lords nodded, they didn't suspect anything. Qin Wentian and Di Tian's law attributes were completely different. No one would suspect that they were the same person. Hence, they believed Qin Wentian's words even more. Don't worry, we naturally won't reveal this matter. Is the Battle Saint tribe doing well now? Did anyone follow you to the supreme ancient immortal realms? The Battle Saint tribe is doing very well. As for me coming to the supreme ancient immortal realms, it's also a coincidence. No one from the Battle Saint tribe followed me here, they are all still in Azure Mystic. Qin Wentian slowly spoke. Oh yes, seniors, if I wish to return to Azure Mystic, what should I do? Given your current cultivation base, it would be extremely difficult if you want to directly traverse the immortal realms. Also, the Azure Mystic Immortal Realms is a forbidden region. Hence, it isn't like the other immortal realms where many peak powers have teleportation arrays. If you want to return to Azure Mystic now, it would be extremely troublesome. A palace lord said. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with disappointment. It was not easy to return to Azure Mystic. There's one more thing I have to tell you. The lifelong Realm Lord should have already seen through the God's hand you used. Di Tian might not be able to tell, but the final move of this true body is clearly a derivation of God's hand. The Saint Lord had once used a similar derivation technique before, it would be hard to hide it from the lifelong Realm Lord's eyes. Hence, you have to be mentally prepared. The lifelong Realm Lord might not put you in an important position. On the contrary, the possibility of your twin brother Di Tian being put in an important position is higher. Qin Wentian's expression froze. Seems like the relationship between the lifelong Realm Lord and ancient Emperor Yi was very subtle. They weren't as good friends as the rumors said. In that case, Yi Qianyu. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. It's highly possible that he intentionally left her in the lifelong Saint Hall. However, you don't have to worry too much. At the very least, Yi Qianyu isn't in any danger. The lifelong Realm Lord can see that you used God's hand and would definitely think that you are a successor nurtured by the Saint Lord, allowing you to temper yourself in his lifelong realm. Although he wouldn't put you in an important position, he wouldn't go to the extent of suppressing you either. Qin Wentian nodded. That's right, out of the 9 world palaces, one of them was already a subordinate of ancient Emperor Yi. He also didn't hide his God's hand when he used it. The lifelong realm would definitely think that he was ancient Emperor Yi's successor and wouldn't allow him to have a high position in the lifelong realm. If not, was this lifelong realm the lifelong realm lord belonged to, or the lifelong realm belonged to ancient Emperor Yi? But since he didn't hide his God's hand, the lifelong realm would definitely think that he was someone arranged by ancient Emperor Yi. They naturally wouldn't do anything to him. When he thought of this, a strange expression appeared on Qin Wentian's face. He didn't expect that using God's hand would actually cause such complicated karma. Ha, are you very depressed? The Gemini Palace Lord laughed. Qin Wentian bitterly smiled and shook his head. I just didn't expect this. One of the Palace Lords stretched out his hand and patted Qin Wentian on his shoulder. We will definitely inform the Saint Lord about your matter. It's just that we have no idea where the Saint Lord has gone to right now. Let's exchange our immortal senses first. If you encounter any trouble in the future, you can ask me for help. As he spoke, he took out his messaging crystal. Qin Wentian did the same and the 3 of them exchanged their immortal senses. This way, if they wanted to contact each other in the future, they would be able to do so through their messaging crystals. The 3 of them chatted for a while more before Qin Wentian bid his farewell and returned to his own palace to rest. Nothing happened that night. On the second day, the palace lords of the 9 world palaces brought their serving girls with them and left to report to the Realm Lord. Qin Wentian and the others still remained in the palace. Qin Wentian, who was resting with his eyes closed, suddenly heard a commotion. His immortal sense gushed out as he stood up. His silhouette flashed and an instant later, he appeared outside Beauty Zhao's palace. Many people had barged in and the person leading them was none other than the person whom Qin Wentian had defeated before, the northern governor of Lifelong City, Xiao Yu. Other than them, many other governors and monarchs of the Lifefire Palace also came here. When they saw the situation here, the charming smile on Beauty Zhao's face disappeared. Her expression was filled with coldness and stubbornness as she stared at the group of people who just appeared. I'm a governor of the Lifefire Palace. Aren't you guys violating the rules by barging in like this? Beauty Zhao coldly spoke. We are here to see the juniors of our clan. Would the Lifefire Empyrean have any objections? An elder behind Xiao Yu walked out, coldly staring at Beauty Zhao. Who is your junior? Beauty Zhao coldly spoke. You don't even want to acknowledge your ancestors. That elder's eyes gleamed with coldness. I heard that during these years, your actions in Lifefire City have been extremely unrestrained. You might not find it embarrassing, but my Xiao clan of the Sword Spirit sect can't afford to lose face like this. Although the Sword Spirit sect was a sect, it could also be considered a clan. Right now, the Sword Spirit sect was controlled by 2 major clans. One of them was none other than the Xiao clan. However, the Sword Spirit sect wouldn't reject outsiders from joining. The governor of Lifefire City, Beauty Zhao, was also someone from the Xiao clan. A look of surprise appeared on Qin Wentian's face. As for the other monarchs and governors of Lifefire City, their expressions were normal. Clearly, they already knew about this. I've long had no relationship with you guys. There's no need for you guys to interfere in my actions. Beauty Zhao coldly spoke. Slut. Xiao Yu coldly spat out, his tone was extremely sharp. Back then when the clan arranged a marriage for you, you didn't agree and insisted on following a trash. The clan killed him for you because it was out of consideration for you. I didn't expect you to be so shameless now, throwing away the face of our Shao clan. Yet, you still refuse to admit your guilt. Beauty Zhao's expression instantly turned ashen. She stared at Xiao Yu. In terms of seniority, I can be considered your elder. How can you speak to me like this? How can such a lowly person be qualified to be my elder? Coldness radiated from Xiao Yu. He took a step out, wanting to attack Beauty Zhao. This is the lifelong Saint Hall. You dare. Beauty Zhao's expression changed. Since you wanted to break away from my Shao clan, you were also expelled back then. If my Shao clan teaches an unfilial person a lesson, the Realm Lord wouldn't say anything. Xiao Yu coldly spoke. His palm stretched out, transforming into a giant palm imprint that blasted towards Beauty Zhao. Beauty Zhao's expression changed. She stabbed out with her fingers, actually wanting to fight here. Both of them were governors. Beauty Zhao was a governor of Lifefire City while Xiao Yu was a genius governor of Lifelong City. Their strengths weren't on the same level. Numerous terrifying attacks clashed against each other. A crisp sound rang out as Beauty Zhao's face was slapped. She directly fell to the ground as blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. My Shao clan originally wanted to cripple you. But since you are a member of the Lifefire Palace, as long as you kneel and accept 3 palm strikes, we will expel you from the Shao clan. From then on, you will be a lowly person and have nothing to do with my Shao clan. Xiao Yu coldly spoke as he stepped forward. Impudent. A cold voice rang out. Because Beauty Zhao was someone from the Shao clan, Qin Wendian initially didn't want to interfere. After all, this was a matter of the Shao clan. But now, the Shao clan clearly came here to humiliate Beauty Zhao. He couldn't bear to watch this any longer. Xiao Yu stared at Qin Wendian as his expression instantly turned unsightly. He coldly spoke, "This is a matter of my Shao clan. Unrelated people shouldn't interfere." Qin Wendian's eyes blinked as a terrifying sword intent directly penetrated into Xiao Yu's eyes. He stepped out and directly blasted out with his palm. Xiao Yu's aura instantly erupted forth as his sword intent towered, clashing against Qin Wendian's attack. With a thunderous boom, his body was flung through the air as he retreated repeatedly. What are you doing? The experts of the Sword Spirit sect all unleashed their cold auras at Qin Wendian. Daring to come to my Lifefire Palace and humiliate a governor of my Lifefire Palace? Moreover, this is the lifelong realm. Do you all have the Realm Lord and my Lifefire Palace Lord in your eyes? Qin Wendian walked towards Beauty Zhao as he coldly spoke. This is a family matter. An old man coldly spoke. She has already said that she has nothing to do with the Shao clan. Also, earlier you all said that you want to expel her. Since this is the case, did you all come here just to humiliate a governor of my Lifefire Palace? Qin Wendian coldly spoke. Yesterday, I saw that slut seducing him. Did something happen between the two of you? Why are you so protective of her? Someone from the back coldly spoke. The Sword Spirit sect naturally didn't have any good impression of Qin Wendian. He defeated Xiao Yu and caused Xiao Yu to lose face. How could the Sword Spirit sect be polite to him? So what? Qin Wendian laughed. He walked towards Beauty Zhao and wrapped his arms around her waist, causing her body to tremble. She inclined her head and stared at his handsome face. You guys are also so interested in my private matters? Qin Wendian threatened. Don't blame me for not reminding you all. If anyone dares to humiliate her again, don't blame me for not being polite. Not being polite? Xiao Yu walked out, his killing intent radiating forth. No matter how you treat her, I will repay you double. Qin Wendian similarly radiated coldness. You appeared on the platform for Yi Qianyu. I initially thought that your feelings for Yi Qianyu were very deep. Who would have thought that you would also want such a slut? Xiao Yu laughed loudly. Beauty Zhao was continuously humiliated. Her countenance turned pale. She stared at Qin Wendian, yet Qin Wendian's expression didn't change at all. He merely spat out a single word, scram. Xiao Yu and the others had unsightly expressions on their faces. After that, they coldly stared at Qin Wentian. Let's hope Governor Qin knows his place. After speaking, the people of the Shao clan flicked their sleeves and departed. Chapter 1633. After the people from the Sword Spirit sect left, the monarchs and governors of the Lifefire Palace all stared at Qin Wentian and Beauty Xiao. When did these two get together? Seems like not only did Governor Qin gain fame and fortune, you even managed to hug a beauty. Yin Qiu spoke in a neutral tone. When he saw Beauty Xiao's alluring figure leaning against Qin Wentian, he couldn't help but feel a sense of discomfort. The vixen he had been drooling over for so many years was actually obtained by Qin Wentian? Your colleague is being humiliated, but you still chose to watch from the sidelines. No wonder Governor Xiao doesn't like you. Qin Wentian mocked. Beauty Xiao moved away from Qin Wentian and bowed to Qin Wentian. Many thanks to Governor Qin for helping me out. This is what I should do. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. The monarchs and governors of the Lifefire Palace froze. Could it be that there was no relationship between them and Qin Wentian was the one who stood up for them? Governor Qin, please enter the courtyard for a chat. Beauty Xiao gently smiled. After that, she coldly glanced at the others. A moment later, all of them had smiles on their faces as they left with some embarrassment. Even Yin Qiu left unhappily. Qin Wentian followed Beauty Xiao into the courtyard. Beauty Xiao directly took out a treasure and sealed the courtyard. Her hands directly hooked around Qin Wentian's neck as her alluring eyes shone. Thank you. Beauty Xiao gently spoke. It's what I should do. Qin Wentian shifted his gaze away. Beauty Xiao smiled charmingly when she saw Qin Wentian's expression. Her sexy robe slid down. Qin Wentian turned his head and glanced at her alluring figure. What are you doing? Want me? Beauty Xiao leaped onto Qin Wentian's body, her legs wrapped around Qin Wentian's waist. Her hands hugged Qin Wentian's head, while Qin Wentian's head sank into her chest, sinking into an endless abyss. You are crazy. Qin Wentian's breathing quickened as he raised his head to look at Beauty Xiao. I know you already have someone in your heart. I won't ask anything of you, but don't reject me. Beauty Xiao lowered her head, her eyes were filled with charm. Qin Wentian was speechless. He then carried her into the room and a great battle ensued. After several battles, Qin Wentian sat in the courtyard and pondered. He sighed in his heart. After all, they had been acquainted once. It was still impossible for him to treat them as strangers. Beauty Xiao's sexy body leaned against Qin Wentian as she sat down. She rested her head on Qin Wentian's shoulder as she asked in a low voice, Do you think I'm a slut just like what the people of the Shao clan said? Without waiting for Qin Wentian's reply, Beauty Xiao continued, Once, I was also a young miss of the Shao clan. I was dignified and virtuous, and my upbringing was extremely strict. That was until the Shao clan wanted to betroth me to an enemy that I hated the most in order to achieve their goals. Speaking of which, it was truly ironic. But in such a major power, this is a common method. Yet, they didn't think that they were filthy. In a fit of anger, I ran away from home and met someone. That person liked my beauty and was full of sweet words. But in truth, he was cowardly and useless. He actually knelt before the Shao clan and begged for mercy. I didn't feel sad at all when the people of the Shao clan killed him. How ironic. After the Shao clan captured me, everyone in the clan mocked me to the extreme. Even the enemy who betrothed me to the Shao clan insulted me, rejecting the betrothal. In a single night, I became a whore. After that, I left the Shao clan and my personality also changed, becoming like this. Didn't they say that I was a slut? So I acted for them to see. There were many people who wanted my body, for example, Yin Qiu. But that was all. They only wanted to conquer a sexy beauty. I also seduced many people, and from all of them, I could see their desire for my body. This is what men are like. Hence, none of them managed to obtain me until you appeared. You might not believe this, but in truth, other than that dead ghost, you are my second man. Beauty Xiao giggled. From your tone, I can tell that you hate men in your heart. Qin Wentian stared at Beauty Xiao as he spoke. That's right. In this martial world, men have an advantage compared to women in terms of cultivation. In the secular world, men can have many wives and concubines. They covet beauty, and as long as they have authority, there would always be many beauties around them, treating them as nourishment for their cultivation. But when it comes to women, they would be labeled as sluts. Do you think that men are not despicable? Qin Wentian was speechless. The truth was as such. That Xiao Yu was merely a governor, but he already had so many beauties around him. In addition, these beauties were all from aristocratic clans. Regardless of the Liefire Empyrean or the lifelong Realm Lord, both of them had no lack of women around them. Also, all of them were women with both beauty and talent. Was it fair? Was it unfair? This was how things were in the secular world. You are different from them. In the past, for those I seduced, none of them could resist my temptation. You are different from them. Beauty Xiao laughed. Are you mocking me? Qin Wentian felt some guilt in his heart. How was he different? You know I'm not. I'm still very confident in my own beauty and charm. Even for those who aren't attracted to beauty, they wouldn't mind me taking the initiative to seduce them. After all men have needs. However, you are completely unmoved by my many attempts to seduce you. Beauty Xiao smiled. Although you were still captured by me in the end, maybe this is the nature of you men. Even with a strong will, you still can't control your desires. Other than you, there's another person who is different. Who? Qin Wentian asked. A character who rose to fame in this grand banquet like you, Di Tian. Beauty Xiao stared at Qin Wentian's handsome face as she smiled. There are many similarities between the two of you. For example? Qin Wentian calmly asked. I can't explain it clearly. I just have a feeling that there's some sort of relationship between the two of you. The feeling you give me is so similar, like the two of you are the same person. However, you are so different. Beauty Xiao laughed, her words causing Qin Wentian's heart to tremble. Beauty Xiao had been in close contact with him and Di Tian before, and she actually sensed something strange. The intuition of a woman was truly terrifying. Alright, it's been so long. It's time for you to leave. If not, others might think that we are doing something in there. Beauty Xiao's soul-stirring eyes stared at Qin Wentian. Her sexy figure stood up and helped Qin Wentian tidy up his clothes. After that, she wore the clothes she wore earlier and spoke, "Let me send you out." Qin Wentian speechlessly stood up and left. Before he left, Beauty Xiao transmitted her voice to him. In the future, she would only seduce him alone. The Empyreans of the 9 world palaces have all returned from the Realm Lord's place. After that, they led their troops back to their respective world palaces through the teleportation arrays. The Liefire Empyrean, Qin Wentian and the others all returned to Liefire City. Before they left, Qin Wentian still didn't have a chance to see Yi Qianyu. Also, Yi Qianyu's messaging crystal seemed to have been taken away before she was imprisoned in the Liefire jail. Qin Wentian could only send her a one-way message, telling her to wait for him as he needed time. After the experts from the 9 world palaces left, in a vast platform in the lifelong Saint Hall, the lifelong Realm Lord sat there, sipping wine. There were beautiful serving girls beside him. At the front, a group of beautiful fairies came over and bowed. People from the Red Dust Immortal Palace pay our respects to the World Overlord. Yes. The lifelong Realm Lord nodded slightly. He inclined his head and glanced at Yi Qianyu. In the future, you can stay in the lifelong Saint Hall as a servant. Yes, Realm Lord. Yi Qianyu bowed. Before this, you danced during the banquet. Dance it for me. The lifelong Realm Lord calmly spoke. Yi Qianyu's expression froze as her countenance turned pale. She spoke in a low voice, "Realm Lord." The lifelong Realm Lord frowned. In an instant, a formless pressure gushed forth. He stared at Yi Qianyu, his expression was as calm as ever, there were no fluctuations in his eyes. If you are unwilling, I won't force you. The lifelong realm lord calmly spoke. Qianyu. The maidens from the red dust immortal palace all turned their gazes to Yi Qianyu. Yi Qianyu saw the gazes of everyone as she sighed in her heart. She then cast a deep glance at the transcendent aura of the lifelong realm lord. After all, he was a major character. Even with Qin Wentian's dazzling performance, she still couldn't obtain any respect. When she thought of the voice transmission that Qin Wentian sent her through his messaging crystal, Yi Qianyu's expression gradually changed. All of a sudden, a radiant smile appeared in Yi Qianyu's eyes. At this moment, she was filled with boundless charm. Yes, Realm Lord. Yi Qianyu smiled sweetly, causing the eyes of the lifelong Realm Lord to flash. After that, he saw that sexy figure of hers twisting and turning as she danced once more. Every movement of hers was filled with boundless charm. Yi Qianyu's beautiful eyes were still filled with a smile, adding to her charm. However, right now, her heart was as calm as still water, as cold as ice. Regardless of the lifelong Realm Lord or the Lifeire Empyrean, they would eventually pay the price for seeing through Qin Wentian. It has only been a few tens of years and the Lifeire Empyrean already felt threatened. In the future, the lifelong Realm Lord would feel the same as well. Another person came over, walking towards the lifelong Realm Lord and bowing. These are the dossiers that the Lifeire Palace has organized. The lifelong Realm Lord nodded lightly. His gaze shifted away from Yi Qianyu and lowered his head to read through the dossiers. Not long after, a look of bewilderment flashed in his eyes. Princess Kitamura, Qin Wentian, apprentice sister and brother. If this was the case, what relationship did Princess Kitamura have with Yi? Could she also be Yi's successor? If she was truly Yi's successor, why would she be forced into such a state by the Jialan monarch? Could it be that Yi allowed them to roam the lifelong Realm Lord's world freely? As he read through the dossiers, the bewilderment in the lifelong Realm Lord's heart grew even deeper. After he finished reading, Yi Qianyu's dance also halted. He spoke to the person beside him, send a message to the Lifeire Empyrean, tell him to summon Princess Kitamura to the lifelong Saint Hall. Yes. That person nodded and retreated. The lifelong Realm Lord inclined his head and glanced at Yi Qianyu and the maidens of the Red Dust Immortal Palace. You guys can remain in the lifelong Saint Hall to atone for your crimes and wait for my summons. Yes. Everyone didn't dare to object. They all bowed and replied. Yi Qianyu continued standing there, watching as the lifelong Realm Lord stood up and left. Her beautiful eyes inclined and stared into the distance as a smile flickered in her eyes. The person she was waiting for, when would he truly be able to prop up this sky? Chapter 1634. In Lifeire City, after Qin Wentian and the others returned, the news of what happened in the lifelong realm also circulated around. The weaponsmithing Grandmaster Di Tian had outstanding talent and obtained first place in the martial competition with a cultivation base at the mid-stage of the Immortal Emperor realm. The lifelong Realm Lord personally rewarded him and exempted the Emperor Pavilion from paying any taxes. No one was allowed to affect the Emperor Pavilion's development. When this news circulated out, Lifeire City was shaken. Everyone knew that the rise of the Emperor Pavilion was already unstoppable. There would no longer be any obstructions. Those who once doubted Di Tian's strength only felt ashamed. As for those who supported Di Tian, they all flaunted their brilliance everywhere. Some people even brought up the matter of Lu Feibai from the Lu clan challenging Di Tian, mocking Lu Feibai for not knowing his own limits. An ant-like character actually dared to challenge Grandmaster Di Tian, saying that he wasn't even qualified to carry Grandmaster Di Tian's shoes. All sorts of ugly words caused Lu Feibai to be humiliated everywhere, becoming a villain. At the same time, many major powers went to the Emperor Pavilion to pay a visit, preparing to form a good relationship with Grandmaster Di Tian. However, the Emperor Pavilion sent out news that Grandmaster Di Tian was going to hold a banquet and invited all the major powers. Other than this, the other shocking news was naturally the northern governor Qin Wentian. That white-robed governor who exuded magnificence through the generations had killed over 10 immortal emperors in a single battle. In the lifelong realm, he saved Lifire City from humiliation and used his strength to challenge the 8 governors of the 9 world palaces. In the final battle, he fought 1 against 2, his magnificence through the generations, causing his name to resound through the world. However, the white-robed governor Qin Wentian who returned to Lifire City was as low-profile as ever. He stayed in his governor's manor and didn't receive any guests. Di Tian and Qin Wentian became the 2 legendary characters of Lifire City. Today, in the central city regions, the Emperor Pavilion hosted a banquet to welcome the visiting powers. In fact, many governor manors were invited. For example, the eastern governor Lin Ba, the southern governor Beauty Xiao, the western governor Yin Qiu, and even the grand governor Zhuge Xiong. There were only 2 governors he didn't invite, the northern governor Qin Wentian. These 2 were similarly outstanding characters. Many people guessed that maybe Qin Wentian didn't need to give face to Di Tian. He wasn't inferior to Di Tian, hence, Di Tian didn't invite him. There were others who said that the 2 were vaguely competing against each other. They were both exceptional geniuses and couldn't accept the other. Naturally, no one could verify these conjectures. However, there was another matter that was very interesting. The governor of the central governor's manor, Xia Ho, actually didn't receive an invitation. Thinking back to the matters of the past, everyone felt that it was extremely thought-provoking. Back then, the scandal of the central governor's manor caused a commotion. Who didn't know that Governor Xia Ho wanted to deal with the Emperor Pavilion? Now, Grandmaster Di was smacking Governor Xia Ho's face. In the Emperor Pavilion, the banquet has already been prepared and was filled to the brim. Not only for the people from the central governor's manor, many major powers from the various regions of Lifire City also came to pay their respects. After all, the future of the Emperor Pavilion could already be foreseen. Even the Realm Lord personally spoke. In addition to Di Tian's combat prowess and weaponsmithing prowess, if the Emperor Pavilion didn't develop, it would truly be unreasonable. Today, the people of the Mo clan were all extremely excited. The Mo clan leader, Mo Ting, personally led the members of the Mo clan here to attend the banquet. Mo Ting, his daughter Mo Junyi, and an elder of the Mo clan, Mo Fei, were all seated at the main seats. Everyone knew that Mo Fei and Mo Junyi had always been the left and right arms of Grandmaster Di and the Mo clan had always been supporting Grandmaster Di. Now that Grandmaster Di finally rose to glory, the Mo clan would naturally bask in his glory as well. Upon seeing so many major powers sitting below, Mo Ting had a radiant smile on his face. He silently sighed in his heart at how wise his decision back then was. As the saying goes, sending charcoal in snowy weather is the most precious. Right now, there were so many people who were willing to add flowers to embroidery. Di Tian sat at the highest seat. After the banquet was prepared, he toasted everyone. Di, thank everyone for coming. I also thank Grand Governor Zhuge and the other governors for coming. Grandmaster Di is too polite. Governor Di, we are all colleagues. There's no need to be so polite. Lin Ba laughed. As for Beauty Xiao, she was very obedient today, she merely sat there with a smile on her face and didn't try to seduce Di Tian. Seems like her promise to Qin Wentian was true. In the future, she would only seduce Qin Wentian. Although I'm indebted to the Realm Lord's love and am appointed as the supervisory commander, in truth, it's just an idle position. My interest is still in the Emperor Pavilion and I hope that everyone would be able to help me out in the future. Di Tian, who was wearing a mask, exuded a mysterious aura. He was clad in black and his entire person radiated sharpness. Naturally, Grandmaster Di's Emperor Pavilion is a transcendent power after all. We still have to depend on the Emperor Pavilion. Someone laughed loudly. That's right. The divine weapons forged by Grandmaster Di are all peerless. In the future, Grandmaster Di mustn't stop. We all want to auction off one of Grandmaster Di's divine weapons. Everyone spoke one after another, and their tones were extremely polite. That's only natural. I will continue to forge divine weapons, it's just that the frequency of my forging won't be as high as before. After all, if my strength doesn't rise, I would eventually encounter a bottleneck in my forging. Di Tian smiled as everyone nodded. Is your strength still lacking? Mo Junyi, who was at the side, rolled her eyes at Di Tian. Di Tian stared at her and laughed. Ha, Grandmaster Di is too humble. The eyes of many turned to Mo Junyi. Some of them had a bright light in their eyes as they laughed. Grandmaster Di and Princess Mo are truly a perfect match, a match made in heaven and earth. I can see that Princess Mo's eyes are filled with love when she looks at Grandmaster Di. This seemed like a joke, but there was a deep meaning within. And as expected, after hearing this, the eyes of the Mo clan leader, Mo Ting, gleamed sharply as he smiled at the person who spoke. Mo Junyi blushed as she spoke. You guys better not use me as a joke. Ha, that's what I feel. That person continued speaking in a half-joking manner. How could Di Tian not understand the thoughts of these people? If there really was something going on between him and Mo Junyi, this person's words would undoubtedly cause the Mo clan to have a good impression of him. However, there were also some people who were unhappy. These people were none other than the Jialan clan. Today, the Jialan clan also came to attend the banquet and Jialan Chuyue was present as well. Yeah, they are truly a good match. A gentle voice rang out. The gazes of everyone turned over only to see Jialan Chuyue's breathtakingly beautiful countenance. They only saw Jialan Chuyue smiling at Di Tian, her beautiful eyes flashing with a hint of coquettishness. This scene caused everyone to be stunned. The person who spoke earlier laughed. I spoke too much, I'm just joking, I hope you don't take it to heart. As the sound of his voice faded, the people from the Mo clan coldly stared at him. After that person broke out in cold sweat and even had the heart to die. His bootlicking was at the wrong place. What a melodramatic plot. Who would have thought that the young miss of the Jialan clan would actually be secretly in love with Grandmaster Di? If he knew about this earlier, he wouldn't have dared to fart here even if he was given a few more guts. Many people felt their hearts trembling. Right now, this Grandmaster Di was truly a hot commodity, having the favor of so many peak-level beauties. Right now, the young miss of the Jialan clan, the peak-level beauty of Lifire City, Jialan Chuyue, was currently staring at the young miss of the Mo clan, Mo Junyi. Their gazes collided, causing sparks to fly. Such good fortune, hee hee. Di Tian sweated. He coughed and spoke. Right now, the Emperor Pavilion is still in its development phase. I, Di, have not considered the matters of love yet. As the sound of his voice faded, two gazes filled with hidden bitterness turned to him. Di Tian felt his head swelling, silently musing at the fact that beauties nowadays were all so unreserved. In truth, one couldn't blame Jialan Chuyue and Mo Junyi for not being reserved. They wanted to be reserved, but they met their match. When women were together with other women, their jealousy would naturally be extremely strong. No matter what, they mustn't show any weakness. Hence, they temporarily forgot about being reserved. Seems like Grandmaster Di will have the fortune of having multiple lovers. Many people stared at Di Tian with a meaningful look in their eyes. Outstanding people, as expected, all beauties would take the initiative. The disparity between people was truly too great. Di Tian acted as though he didn't see the gazes of the two beauties. He continued, I'm sure everyone knows a little about the history of the Emperor Pavilion's development. Back then, the Emperor Pavilion almost suffered a calamity and ceased to exist. Even now, I, Di, still feel a lingering fear. The eyes of everyone flashed when they heard Di Tian's words. All of them retracted their joking expressions and became serious. Grandmaster Di bringing up this matter at this moment, what did he mean by that? Back then, it was precisely at this location where my Emperor Pavilion was in its development phase, exploring step by step. However, all of a sudden, we encountered a mysterious power's provocation. The experts who were auctioning treasures from my Emperor Pavilion were actually robbed, and the people who came to trade with my Emperor Pavilion also encountered all sorts of troubles. At that time, the people who came to trade with my Emperor Pavilion were all filled with fear and anxiety, causing the morale of the Emperor Pavilion to plummet. At that time, my Emperor Pavilion paid a tribute to a first-tier power, and even the governor's manor couldn't find out anything. Di Tian's tone turned solemn. The eyes of the governors gleamed with sharpness. What was Di Tian trying to do by bringing up the past? After that, although this matter was resolved, it's still extremely strange. Back then, who were the powers that acted against my Emperor Pavilion in the dark? Di Tian's tone gradually turned sharp as sharpness flickered in his eyes. Those powers used such sinister methods to deal with my Emperor Pavilion, they would naturally act against others as well. This isn't beneficial to the development of the various powers in Lifefire City. Right now, I'm highly regarded by the Realm Lord and was given the position of the Supervisory Commander. I'm prepared to investigate this matter once more. What does everyone think? The hearts of everyone trembled. Di Tian had mentioned twice that he was highly regarded by the Realm Lord and was given the position of Supervisory Commander. Clearly, he was using this opportunity to tell everyone that he was someone from the Realm Lord's faction. Right now, Grandmaster Di, who had confidence, was finally going to settle the debt. The moment he returned, he was already planning to do so. Truly, revenge can't be delayed overnight. The eyes of Zhuge Xiong and the other governors flashed. They all understood in their hearts that this matter also implicated Governor Xiahou. Did Qin Wendian mean that Di Tian was preparing to settle this debt together? Before this, the Lifefire Empyrean had hoped that they could let go of their grudges. But now, it seemed like Di Tian wanted to challenge his authority. Chapter 1635. Zhuge Xiong and the others understood that Xiahou was the mastermind behind this. The others naturally knew this as well. In addition, other than Governor Xiahou, there might be a few other major powers involved in this matter. Hence, many people narrowed their eyes. For a period of time, the lively banquet turned silent. If they spoke now, it would be easy for them to offend others. Although they didn't know who exactly they would offend, they knew that it was definitely not an ordinary character. When Di Tian saw this scene, he played around with the wine cup in his hand as he smiled. It's fine if everyone doesn't want to express their opinions. We can't leave the debt of the past unresolved. The Emperor Pavilion will definitely investigate this matter thoroughly. It's just that right now, our Emperor Pavilion is still developing and our strength is still a little weak. Hence, we might need to borrow some strength. Is there anyone who is willing to support my Emperor Pavilion? They want to form an alliance. Many people sighed in their hearts. To many people, this was an opportunity. As long as they nodded, although they might offend others, they would gain the friendship of the Emperor Pavilion. Now, it all depended on how they would choose. My Mo clan will naturally do our best to support the Emperor Pavilion. Back then, our Mo clan was also involved in this matter and we are extremely angry. Now that Grandmaster Di wants to investigate, I, Mo Ting, will naturally support you. The clan leader of the Mo clan, Mo Ting, directly expressed his stance. If Grandmaster Di has any needs, my Jialan clan is also willing to provide some help. Jialan Chuyue's father, Jialan Cheng, spoke. Their Jialan clan definitely had to maintain a good relationship with Di Tian. Di Tian might be a crucial character for their Jialan clan to deal with the Lifefire Empyrean. I'm also willing to do my best to help. Another person spoke. This person was from a major power. After that, more and more people expressed their stance. Even for those spectators, when they saw so many major powers expressing their stance, they couldn't help but to speak as well. Almost half of the people here directly expressed their willingness to support Di Tian. Staring at everyone, a smile appeared in Di Tian's eyes. After that, he turned to Zhuge Xiong and the other governors as he spoke. Grand Governor Zhuge, I'm sure you also know that this matter implicates our governor's manor. Hence, we might need your help. I wonder what the governors think. Zhuge Xiong stared at Di Tian's dark eyes as his heart trembled. Honestly speaking, although he was a grand governor, Di Tian didn't need to care about him at all. Di Tian had already expressed his stance. He would definitely investigate this matter no matter what. Right now, he was asking for their opinions because he wanted them to choose a side. Would they stand on his side, or would they stand with Xia Ho? If it was just Di Tian and Xia Ho, it would still be easy to choose. But the most crucial thing was that the Li-Fire Empyrean was here as well. Although the Li-Fire Empyrean didn't say it clearly, he already made Xia Ho apologize in the lifelong Saint Hall. Evidently, he hoped that the matter back then would be forgotten. Right now, Di Tian seemed to be unwilling and wanted to investigate this matter no matter what. Governor Di, I agree with this matter. It's just that Xia Ho is after all the governor of Li-Fire City. I wonder what the Li-Fire Empyrean's attitude would be. If you don't target Xia Ho, I can directly tell you. Di Tian transmitted his voice to Di Tian, his words causing sharpness to flash through Di Tian's eyes. This old fox. Di Tian ignored Zhuge Xiong's voice transmission and directly spoke, Grand Governor, I'm under the orders of the lifelong Realm Lord to be the supervisory commander. Even if this matter didn't happen to my Emperor Pavilion, I will definitely investigate this matter clearly. Our Li-Fire City cannot allow such vermin to exist. Since I know about this matter, if I don't investigate it, how can I face the Realm Lord's love for me? Zhuge Xiong cursed in his heart. This bastard, he directly bypassed the Li-Fire Empyrean and directly talked about the Realm Lord. He truly knew how to use his connections to intimidate others. In addition, this Di Tian truly wasn't afraid of the Li-Fire Empyrean. Before he headed to the lifelong realm, his relationship with the Jialan clan was already very close. Clearly, he was roped in by the Jialan clan. Right now, the people of the Jialan clan were also present at this banquet. How would this Di Tian care about the Li-Fire Empyrean's opinion? The Realm Lord has personally spoken. As long as Di Tian doesn't do anything disgraceful, he can do whatever he wants in Li-Fire City. No one would dare to touch him, including the Li-Fire Empyrean. Right now, he said that he wanted to investigate Xia Ho and even brought out the lifelong Realm Lord's name. Even the Li-Fire Empyrean couldn't say anything. Could it be that he would really offend Di Tian to death and drive him to the Jialan clan? Zhuge Xiong guessed that the Li-Fire Empyrean would most probably allow Di Tian and Xia Ho to fight, he wouldn't interfere. What do you guys think? Zhuge Xiong glanced at Lin Ba, Beauty Xiao and Yin Qiu. This caused Lin Ba and Yin Qiu to silently curse in their hearts. I feel that we should support Grandmaster Di. Since Grandmaster Di is the supervisory commander, he does have the authority to investigate this matter. Also, there's nothing in the governor's manner of our Li-Fire City that can't be revealed. Lin Ba spoke with a strong sense of righteousness, causing Zhuge Xiong to feel somewhat taken aback. Lin Ba actually directly supported Di Tian. However, he understood after thinking about it. Among the 5 governors of Li-Fire City, Qin Wentian was a special existence. He was already very unhappy with Xia Ho. Other than Qin Wentian, Xia Ho was the strongest and Lin Ba was second. If Xia Ho fell, Lin Ba's status would naturally be even higher. Also, if he could obtain Di Tian's friendship, why not? As for Xia Ho, both Di Tian and Qin Wentian wanted to deal with him at the same time. Xia Ho wouldn't be able to continue jumping around for long. I also support Grandmaster Di. Beauty Xiao giggled, expressing her support with no hesitation. Her charming eyes stared at Di Tian. Zhuge Xiong thought that she wanted to seduce Di Tian and didn't feel strange. The matters of the past have already been investigated. Governor Di, there's no need to investigate anymore. Yin Qiu calmly spoke, his voice could be considered friendly. Di Tian's gaze landed on Yin Qiu as he spoke, since Governor Yin Qiu thinks this way, please do as you please. Since we walk different paths, we can't make plans together. Yin Qiu's expression instantly froze. He didn't expect Di Tian to be so domineering. His tone was already extremely calm, but just because he didn't agree with Di Tian's opinion, Di Tian directly chased him away. Zhuge Xiong and the others here were all shocked. What a domineering Grandmaster D. Lin Ba and Beauty Xiao smiled at Yin Qiu, traces of sympathy could be seen in their eyes. This fellow didn't seem to be able to see the situation clearly. Governor D, I only. Yin Qiu faintly felt regret. Governor Yin Qiu, please. Di Tian waved his hands, showing no mercy at all. Yin Qiu's lips twitched. After that, he stood up and left with a heavy expression on his face. Being chased away like this, one could very well imagine how terrible his mood was right now. Although Governor Qin didn't come, I believe that he would definitely agree with my opinion. Di Tian slowly spoke. Zhuge Xiong's eyes flashed. If Di Tian wanted to deal with Xia Ho, Qin Wentian would naturally agree. Since this is the case, if Governor Di has any needs, I will do my best to cooperate. Zhuge Xiong slowly spoke. In that case, I will have to thank Governor Zhuge then. Di Tian smiled and nodded. After that, he raised his cup and spoke to everyone, since everyone is willing to do their best to help me, let me toast to all of you. The eyes of the experts flashed, each of them had their own worries in their hearts. Next, there would surely be a storm in the central city regions of Lifire City. Not long after the banquet ended, the news of what happened at the Emperor Pavilion was already circulated to the central governor's manor. A thunderous boom rang out in the great hall. The table beside Xia Ho directly shattered into pieces. The veins on his face bulged as his killing intent gushed forth. What a good Di Tian. Zhuge Xiong, Lin Ba, Beauty Xiao. Xia Ho's body trembled. One could very well imagine the anger he was feeling right now. Other than anger, there was also a hint of trepidation. Di Tian held a banquet in front of everyone and even asked the governors to express their stance. This meant that Di Tian was determined to act against him. Given Di Tian's current strength, he, Xia Ho, might really die in Di Tian's hands. Lord Governor, what should we do? A vice-governor asked. Back then, this vice-governor had gone to the Emperor Pavilion several times. At that time, he felt that Di Tian was courting death by not giving face to Xia Ho. But now, they actually started to fear Di Tian. This was truly ironic. We didn't do anything. So what if Di Tian investigates? Xia Ho coldly glanced at him. His cold eyes flickered with a hint of threat. Clearly, he wanted the vice-governor to pay attention to his words in the future and not leak any information. Your subordinate knows his mistake. That vice-governor bowed. Go down and warn your subordinates not to speak recklessly. I will report this to the Lifire Empyrean. This Di Tian is truly lawless. Xia Ho calmly spoke. After that vice-governor bade farewell and left, preparing to issue a gag order to those who knew the truth. Not only for Xia Ho's governor's manor, the Yan clan, Han clan, and Wei clan were also holding an emergency meeting. The current Di Tian was no longer the Emperor Pavilion Lord Di Tian of the past. The him now was extremely domineering and truly had the power to destroy them. If he really wanted to investigate, no one knew what would happen if they were implicated. After several days, many people came to the central governor's manor. These people were none other than Di Tian and the people from the Emperor Pavilion. Other than them, there were also people from Zhuge Xiong's faction. Governor Di, what do you mean by this? The moment Di Tian arrived, Xia Ho personally walked out, blocking Di Tian outside. His expression was heavy. He went to the Lifire Empyrean to look for him, but he was rejected. The Violet Moon Immortal transmitted a message to him, telling him that he would be responsible for what he did. This meant that the Lifire Empyrean wasn't planning to interfere and he could only depend on himself to deal with Di Tian. Governor Xia Ho, I still have some doubts regarding what happened to my Emperor Pavilion in the past. I need to look for people from the governor's manor to understand the situation. Di Tian spoke. Fine, I can call them over. If Governor Di wants to understand the situation, I can get them to cooperate. Xia Ho stared at Di Tian. I want to bring them to the Emperor Pavilion. I've already reported this to the Empyrean. There's no need for me to establish a new supervisory governor's manor, it's set to be in the Emperor Pavilion. Di Tian spoke. This won't do. They all have important matters to attend to and don't have so much time. Xia Ho rejected. This is the supervisory commander's command token. Di Tian took out a command token. There were large golden words engraved on it, similar to the governor's command token. However, the word supervisory was engraved on it. If there's anyone who dares to obstruct me from carrying out my supervisory duties, that would be considered a form of disrespect to the lifelong Saint Hall. I can act first and report later. Di Tian calmly spoke. For a moment, a terrifying might bore down on him. His immortal sense enveloped the governor's manner as he spoke. Di Tian, the supervisory commander, summon all the vice-governors and attendants of the northern city regions. For those who hear this, come over immediately. If not, you will be treated as a crime of disrespect and be killed without mercy. His voice was like thunder, reverberating through the air, causing the hearts of countless people to tremble. Chapter 1636. Xia Ho's expression turned heavy as the pressure he exuded was terrifying. The many vice-governors and attendants also understood that Di Tian was borrowing the realm lord's power. Disobey. Kill without mercy. Who gave him such great authority? He was using his position as the supervisory commander to seek revenge. However, he had a good reason to do so. If someone disobeyed, what if Di Tian really killed them? Given Di Tian's combat prowess as the top ranker in the martial competition, most probably Governor Xia Ho wouldn't be able to stop him. Governor Di, what do you treat my governor's manor as? Xia Ho's face turned ashen. If it wasn't for the fact that he knew he wouldn't be able to win against Di Tian, he would have directly started a fight. This is my duty. If this matter is investigated thoroughly, I will naturally allow them to return. I won't make things difficult for them. Di Tian spoke. Xia Ho's expression turned heavy. If these people were brought back to the Emperor Pavilion, there would definitely be trouble. Now that they were in Di Tian's territory, wouldn't he be the one who had the final say? Who knows what methods you will use? Xia Ho coldly spoke. This time around, I've invited the Grand Governor's personal guard to testify. There are also people from the various governor manors. They will bear witness to the entire process. Guard Yun, tell Governor Xia Ho about this. Di Tian spoke. An immortal emperor walked out from the side. Xia Ho glanced at him with an unsightly expression. He naturally knew who the head guard of the Grand Governor Zhuge Xiong was. Governor Xia Ho, the Grand Governor believes that Governor Di will investigate this matter impartially. He hopes that Governor Xia Ho will cooperate. Guard Yun spoke. Xia Ho's hands trembled, he was angered to the extreme. Right now, did the Grand Governor Zhuge Xiong already publicly stand on Di Tian's side? Governor Xia Ho, I've already given you face. If you continue to obstruct me from doing things, don't blame me for being impolite. Di Tian directly threatened. I'll only give the vice-governors and attendants of the governor's manor the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. If they don't come, I'll go in myself. The central governor's manor was completely shaken. Di Tian was too overbearing, the Liefire Empyrean didn't care, and even the Grand Governor, Zhuge Xiong, stood on Di Tian's side. As for the other governors, other than Yin Xiu, who was expelled by Di Tian because he spoke out for Governor Xia Ho, the other governors all supported Di Tian. The situation was completely one-sided. More and more people came here, they were all vice-governors and attendants of the governor's manor. Di Tian was too domineering, they didn't dare to not come. If not, even their Lord Governor Xia Ho might not be able to protect them. Seeing everyone appear, Xia Ho clenched his fists tightly, feeling extremely aggrieved. Not long after, the people who should have come were all here. Di Tian glanced at them and spoke, "Many thanks for everyone's cooperation. Since all of you are vice-governors and attendants, I will naturally treat you politely. Follow me to the Emperor Pavilion." Qin Wentian said and turned around. He was indeed very polite. Everyone glanced at Xiaohou. Xiaohou glanced at a few of them with a hint of warning in his eyes. Governor Xiaohou, back then when you came to my Emperor Pavilion, were you like me today? A voice rang out in Xiaohou's mind. It was Di Tian's voice transmission. Cracking sounds rang out, Xiaohou clenched his fists even tighter. Clearly, Di Tian came here for revenge. Di Tian brought Qin Wentian away. The news of this rapidly circulated around the central city regions. This Grandmaster Di Tian was truly tyrannical, incomparably domineering, directly heading to the central governor's manor to capture Qin Wentian. In the Emperor Pavilion, the vice-governors and attendants of the central governor's manor were all brought here. The experts in the surroundings were as common as the clouds, causing them to feel immense pressure. Di Tian glanced at everyone as he spoke. I'm sure everyone has heard of the incident that happened in the Emperor Pavilion back then. Let me ask all of you, does anyone know who the mastermind is? Everyone stared at Di Tian. This fellow truly wasn't reserved at all, he was actually so direct with his questions, not beating around the bush at all, getting straight to the point. Naturally, no one replied. How could they say this out loud? It's fine if you guys don't want to speak. But if in the future, I find out who the mastermind is and there's someone who doesn't report. Di Tian smiled at everyone. Cripple that person's cultivation base. Many people felt their hearts trembling, but they still maintained their calm on the surface. If they didn't say anything, they didn't believe that Di Tian would know. I'll give you all the time it takes for an incense stick to burn to consider. For those who know, just take a step forward. Di Tian laughed. After that, he stood up from his seat and paced back and forth as though nothing had happened. He glanced at Mo Junyi, who was at the side, and asked, has the person from the northern governor's manor not been invited over yet? Governor Qin has agreed, he's already here. Mo Junyi replied. Micham, quickly invite him over. Di Tian spoke. Mo Junyi walked out and an instant later, she returned. Not only that, beside her, there was a terrifying lion that exuded an imposingness. The eyes of this lion gleamed with a jade-green light. That jade-green eyes of his swept over everyone, causing the hearts of everyone to tremble. Even their souls were trembling, as though they were no longer under their control. Senior Evil Emperor, thank you for your hard work. Di Tian politely spoke. This lion was none other than the Evil Emperor. He casually nodded his head as a reply. His jade-green eyes were still staring at everyone, causing the hairs of those people to stand on end. This bastard. Some people were already cursing Di Tian in their hearts. Evil Emperor, Qin Wentian truly wants to deal with Governor Xiaohou and asked the Evil Emperor for help. If we don't say anything, would Di Tian really use the Evil Emperor to control us and force us to speak? Some people felt conflicted in their hearts, their expressions were no longer as calm as before. Given the domineering aura Di Tian displayed, there was truly such a possibility. Guard Yun, you are a subordinate of the Grand Governor. Be a witness for me. I guarantee that I won't ask too much about their private matters and will only investigate this matter. Di Tian spoke to Guard Yun. Guard Yun silently cursed at Di Tian for being shameless. Was he trying to scare Xiaohou's subordinates to death? And as expected, there were quite a few people who were already trembling unstably. If Di Tian really used the Evil Emperor to interrogate them, Di Tian would cripple them and everything would be over. Di Tian didn't seem to be in a hurry. After a few steps, he inclined his head and stared at everyone. He smiled, there's still the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn. As long as you take the initiative to confess, I guarantee that I won't pursue this matter any further. If not, I'll do as I said before. Everyone, please consider this carefully. After speaking, he no longer spoke. He paced back and forth in front of everyone, his footsteps were crisp and clear. The atmosphere was so silent that even a pin drop could be heard. The jade-green eyes of the Evil Emperor grew increasingly demonic and terrifying. Finally, an attendant took a step forward. The time it takes for an incense stick to burn was almost up. He didn't dare to take the risk. With someone taking the lead, another attendant stepped out. Very swiftly, 3 people walked out consecutively. Di Tian coldly laughed when he saw this scene. How brazen was Xiaohou back then? He didn't hide anything at all, allowing more than 3 attendants to know about this matter. From this, one could very well imagine how brazen Xiaohou was. He didn't care about this at all. Finally, 2 vice-governors and 4 attendants walked out. When Di Tian saw this scene, he laughed and spoke to them. Explain yourself in front of Guard Yun. Who is the mastermind behind the chaos in my Emperor Pavilion? Both of you, transmit a voice transmission to me and Guard Yun. You guys are not allowed to say anything. If you guys don't agree with each other, we will have to investigate further. What a sinister fellow. Everyone stared at Di Tian. The people in the surroundings didn't expect Grandmaster Di Tian to have such methods. As expected, he brought the mastermind to the Emperor Pavilion. Xiaohou was most probably finished now. Grandmaster Di Tian had already made his preparations. From the start to the end, Xiaohou had no way to resist at all. Numerous voices rang out in the ears of Di Tian and Guard Yun. After that, Di Tian and Guard Yun communicated via voice transmission. After that, Di Tian's eyes flashed with a cold smile as he continued to ask, in that case, Governor Xiaohou already knows everything. Although he didn't take the initiative to act, in truth, both parties have already colluded. Am I right? The attendants exchanged glances as they continued to transmit their voices. Di Tian's eyes were cold. Finally, he turned to the evil emperor and spoke, Senior Evil Emperor, can I trouble you to control this attendant and ask him if his words earlier are true? Did they send voice transmissions to each other to lie to me and Guard Yun? The evil emperor's jade-green eyes turned to the weakest attendant, a peak-stage immortal king. Very swiftly, he controlled that attendant and questioned him. That attendant was very honest, everything he said was the truth. Since this is the case, the evidence is clear. Let me report what everyone told me and Guard Yun earlier. Back then, the Yan clan, Han clan, and Wei clan of the central city regions paid a visit to Governor Xiaohou and joined forces to deal with my Emperor Pavilion. The city lord manor pretended to investigate, but in truth, they didn't do anything. In fact, they even secretly sent news to the 3 aristocratic clans. Am I right? If there's a problem with what I said, please correct me. Di Tian slowly spoke. Nobody refuted him. The others all felt shock in their hearts as a voice rang out in their hearts. Governor Xiaohou was finished. This Di Tian was determined to take revenge on him. And now, the evidence was clear. There are people from the various governors' manors here, including the Grand Governor himself. Since the truth is clear, what do you all think? Di Tian stared at everyone as he spoke. We have to report this matter to the Lord Governor. Guard Yun and the others spoke. Di Tian nodded, allowing them to make the report. A moment later, Guard Yun replied, the Grand Governor said that he will immediately report this matter to the Empyrean. As for the 3 aristocratic clans, the Grand Governor said that from now on, they are to be forbidden from expanding their power in Lifire City forever and all the businesses they control will be shut down. I have no objections to the Grand Governor's suggestion. As for the matter regarding Governor Xiaohou, I will wait for the Empyrean's orders and see how the Empyrean would reply to the Grand Governor. As for the other 3 aristocratic clans, they have already violated the laws of the Governor's manor. Not only will their businesses be shut down, they will also be confiscated. Di Tian laughed, but his eyes gleamed with coldness. Everyone here felt their hearts trembling when they heard this. They all understood that Governor Xiaohou was finished. The 3 aristocratic clans were in dire straits as well. Back then, the 3 aristocratic clans offended Grandmaster Di and wanted to annihilate the Emperor Pavilion. Given Grandmaster Di's personality, he most probably wouldn't show mercy. Chapter 1637. In the central governor's manor, Xiaohou paced about in the great hall, feeling extremely uneasy. There was no news of those who were brought away. Right now, he was like a deaf person, he had no idea what happened to the Emperor Pavilion. Di Tian. Xia Ho's eyes flashed with killing intent. Back then, when had he ever cared about a weaponsmith grandmaster? The central city regions were his territory, his words were the law, he could do whatever he wanted. He didn't expect that he would actually suffer the revenge of Di Tian today. At this moment, his eyes flashed with sharpness. He turned his gaze over and stared at the air in the distance. From there, a group of figures could be seen flying over. It was none other than Di Tian and his group. Other than Di Tian, there was also Grand Governor Zhuge Xiong, Protector Chen of the Li-Fire Palace, as well as the vice-governors and attendants of the central governor's manor. At this moment, Xia Ho suddenly had a bad premonition. His heart turned cold. He only saw a group of figures descending from the air, but they didn't descend, staring down at him in a condescending manner. Xia Ho, as the central governor, you actually dared to act so brazenly, colluding with the major powers of Li-Fire City to act against the Emperor Pavilion under your jurisdiction. Do you know your crimes? Zhuge Xiong coldly asked. I don't know what Grand Governor is talking about. Xia Ho denied. Impudent. Zhuge Xiong angrily berated. Right now, the evidence is clear and the people from the various governors' manors are here as witnesses. Your subordinates have also personally admitted to it. Are you still not going to admit your crimes? Xia Ho's expression was extremely ugly to behold. His cold gaze swept over to the people behind Di Tian. His subordinates all lowered their heads, not daring to meet Xia Ho's eyes. They had no other choice. Under such a situation, who would dare to not speak the truth? The evil emperor was already invited here. Even if they didn't want to speak the truth, they had to. If they took the initiative to say that they were innocent, things would be even worse if they were questioned. They had no choice. Do you know your crimes? Zhuge Xiong coldly asked. This subordinate will naturally go and apologize to the Li-Fire Palace Lord. Xia Ho knew that he had no way to refute this. He clasped his hands in the direction of the Li-Fire Palace. The Li-Fire Palace Lord has already given the order to remove you from your position. From now onwards, you will never be employed again. Vice-Governor Ji will temporarily take over your position, temporarily managing the affairs of the central governor's manor. Xia Ho, follow me to the Li-Fire Palace to apologize to the Li-Fire Palace Lord and await your punishment. Protector Chen spoke. Xia Ho's countenance was as pale as paper. From now on, he would never be hired again. This was cutting off his path. Governor Di Tian, when we return to the Li-Fire Palace, the Empyrean will naturally punish you heavily. What do you think? Protector Chen glanced at Di Tian as he asked. No matter what decision Palace Lord makes, Di Tian will naturally respect it. Let's just do as Palace Lord says. Di Tian smiled. Although he knew that nothing would happen to Xia Ho after he went to the Li-Fire Empyrean, at the very least, the Li-Fire Empyrean still put on an act for him to see. After crippling Xia Ho's future, it wouldn't be good for him to be overbearing and go against the Li-Fire Empyrean. Yes. Protector Chen nodded and said, Xia Ho, come with us. Xia Ho didn't say anything. He followed Protector Chen and prepared to leave. His extremely cold gaze swept towards Di Tian, and his killing intent was not concealed at all. Governor Ji, you will temporarily act as the governor and do your best to cooperate with Governor Di. Zhuge Xiong spoke to his former vice-governor, Ji Luo. Ji Luo nodded, yes, Grand Governor. Zhuge Xiong also brought his men and followed after Protector Chen. Di Tian glanced at Ji Yao. Governor Ji, immediately gather everyone in the governor's manor. Your subordinate obeys. Ji Yao clasped his hands. Governor Ji, now you are already the acting governor. You can just refer to me as Governor Di. Di Tian laughed. Ji Yao started and nodded his head, but he was cursing in his heart. This fellow managed to crush Xia Ho so easily, how would he dare to be careless? Everyone from the central governor's manor, gather immediately. Ji Yao roared. In an instant, the various vice-governors and attendants all moved, gathering their subordinates and reorganizing their troops. None of them dared to be slow. Right now, no one dared to offend Di Tian. Di Tian stared at the experts below. The army of the central governor's manor was much stronger compared to the northern governor's manor. Governor Ji, instruct the 3 vice-governors to each lead an army and head towards the 3 aristocrat clans, the Yan clan, Han clan and Wei clan. Surround the 3 aristocrat clans and no one is allowed to enter or leave. Cooperate with the governor's manor and if anyone dares to disobey, kill them without mercy. Di Tian calmly spoke. Although the strength of the 3 aristocrat clans was very strong, if the governor's manor directly surrounded them, they wouldn't dare to do anything. In truth, Qin Wendian wanted nothing more than for them to do something. If that's the case, he would have a chance to capture all of them in one fell swoop. Back then, the 3 aristocrat clans didn't intend to spare his emperor pavilion. Di Tian naturally wouldn't be merciful now. Ji Yao instructed the 3 vice-governors to move out, heading towards the location where the 3 aristocrat clans were located. At the same time, Di Tian instructed the other governors to head to the businesses of the 3 aristocrat clans to seize them. Di Tian also headed there personally, just like how Qin Wendian dealt with the ancient river auction house back then. The central city regions of Lifire City were shaken. Back then when the northern governor Qin Wendian dealt with the ancient river auction house, he had already caused a huge commotion. Let alone now, this matter happened in the central city regions and directly implicated the 3 aristocrat clans as well as Xia Ho. In Lifire City, all the powerful aristocrat clans would have their own businesses or how would they survive? How would they be able to sustain the expenditure of their clans? Every member of a clan needed to accumulate cultivation resources. Only then would the clan be able to grow stronger. The Yan clan was a formation-based aristocrat clan. The Han and Wei clans were a trading aristocrat clan. Their businesses were extremely large and the auction houses and transaction pavilions they controlled were the top powers in the central city regions. When the governor's manor's troops arrived, the commotion was earth-shattering. The people from the governor's manor even encountered strong resistance. However, not only did Di Tian lead his troops, he even got the support of the major powers who supported him back then during the banquet, directly suppressing them with iron blood, tying all the major powers together with his emperor pavilion. Although Di Tian obtained first place in the martial competition in Lifelong City, in truth, the strength of his emperor pavilion wasn't as strong as before. After all, Di Tian had just returned. If he relied on the strength of his emperor pavilion to deal with the 3 aristocrat clans, it would undoubtedly be akin to smashing a rock with an egg. However, Di Tian had been borrowing the strength of the 3 aristocrat clans. He was incomparably domineering, instantly causing everyone to feel that the emperor pavilion was a transcendent power in Lifire City, simply unexcelled in the world. All resistance was completely suppressed. In addition, there were also many powers that wanted to kick them when they were down, including the enemies of the 3 aristocrat clans. In just a single day, the 3 aristocrat clans' businesses were instantly destroyed. All their businesses and resources that could be seized were all seized. And at this moment, within the 3 aristocrat clans, the clan leaders were all in so much pain that they wished they were dead. This time around, they had truly offended a baleful god. Initially, even if they knew that they used dishonorable methods to deal with the Emperor Pavilion, it wouldn't be a big deal. After all, in Lifire City, such things were common. But now, they kicked the iron plate that was Di Tian and he was determined to take revenge on them. Hence, the 3 aristocrat clans encountered a calamity. The Yan clan was surrounded so tightly that not even a drop of water could seep through. In the air, a majestic army descended from the sky. The person in the lead had a mask on and was clad in black robes. His entire person exuded a sense of mystery and sharpness. Upon staring at this figure, many people of the Yan clan thought back to the first time he stepped into the Yan clan. At that time, Di Tian was merely a junior who came to challenge the authority of the Yan clan. At that time, no one paid him any attention. It was only after Di Tian defeated the Yen clan that they started to view him with more importance. But even so, no one would have thought that there would be a day like this. He directly led his men to seize all the businesses of the Yen clan, and now, he was in a lofty position. "Grandmaster Yen Feng, how have you been?" Di Tian stared at an old acquaintance, Yen Feng. Yen Feng's eyes gleamed with sharpness as he stared at Di Tian. "Di Tian, you are using your position as the governor to seek revenge. You will definitely suffer retribution in the future. Is that so?" Di Tian mocked. "You guys colluded with the original governor, Xia Ho, to deal with my emperor pavilion, wanting to kill me. Are you using your position to seek revenge?" "Grandmaster Yen Feng, I won't waste words with you. Back then when I first stepped into the Yen clan, it was extremely difficult for me to even enter the main gate. I was intercepted and had to fight a battle before I could enter. Luckily now, I don't need to go through so much trouble." Di Tian mocked. "From today onwards, all the businesses of the Yen clan have been confiscated. The Yen clan is not allowed to interfere in this anymore. Other than this, the Yen clan will never be allowed to operate any businesses within the Lifeire Palace's territory again. If not, the next time we do so, it would be as simple as confiscation." "You are going too far." Yen Feng raged. The people of the Yen clan all glared at Di Tian. "When you guys bully me, when have you ever been merciful?" Di Tian coldly spoke. "In the future, all of you better behave yourselves. If you break the rules of the Lifeire Palace again, you will definitely be heavily punished. Farewell. Let's go." Di Tian waved his hands as the troops retreated, bringing everyone away. The people of the Yen clan all had ashen expressions. In this case, the Yen clan would no longer have a foothold in the Lifeire Palace. They could only move away. A powerful aristocrat clan without any businesses, they couldn't do any transactions. It was equivalent to them being ordinary unaffiliated cultivators. What could they use to maintain the expenses of the aristocrat clan? Could it be that they had to become bandits? Di Tian was clearly trying to force them to leave. In the central city regions of Lifeire City, Governor Xia Ho was stripped of his position, never to be hired again. All the businesses of the three aristocrat clans were confiscated, and after several days, they decided to move away from Lifeire City. This caused a huge commotion, and it was all because of a single person. Grandmaster Di of the Emperor Pavilion. For a period of time, Di Tian's fame was like the sun in the sky. In the entire Lifeire City, no one dared to antagonize him anymore. In addition, he even issued a warning to his enemies. Regardless of whether they were governors or aristocrat clans, no one was to antagonize him. After a period of time, the Emperor Pavilion announced that they would take over the businesses of the three aristocrat clans and reorganize them. In addition, they would join forces with those powers that were allied with them to take over these businesses. The Emperor Pavilion would borrow manpower from them and provide them with compensation. For a period of time, a commotion broke out in the central city regions. What a good Emperor Pavilion! Not only did they suppress their enemies, they even expanded their influence. Most probably, in just a few years, the Emperor Pavilion would control the largest business in the central city regions. Also, they didn't need to pay any tributes. Just like what everyone expected, the rise of the Emperor Pavilion was unstoppable. It's just that no one expected it to be so tyrannical and so fast. Chapter 1638. In Lifeire City, the original governor of the central city regions, Xia Ho, disappeared. The three aristocrat clans also disappeared. Before this, when Di Tian held the banquet, he had clearly stated that he wanted to investigate the matters of the past and settle old scores. But at that time, no one expected Di Tian to be so tyrannical and decisive. Also, from the things that happened, the Lifeire Empyrean didn't interfere at all. Xia Ho was clearly not Di Tian's opponent. The Lifeire Empyrean didn't interfere in the conflict between Di Tian and Xia Ho. Xia Ho was clearly not Di Tian's opponent. Governor Xia Ho, whose name shook the central city regions for many years, didn't even have the strength to resist and was directly removed from his position by Di Tian. Right now, no one knew where he was. Not long after, the Lifire Empyrean sent an expert to take over the central governor's manor. This governor was named Sun Qian. He was a peak-stage immortal emperor who had cultivated for many years and was someone who had been by the Lifire Empyrean's side for a long time. He always had a smile on his face and seemed extremely amiable. On the second day after he took over, he immediately came to pay a visit to the Emperor Pavilion. Right now, the governors of Lifire City seemed to have come to a tacit understanding. If they wanted to stabilize their positions, they had to build up a good relationship with Di Tian. After all, which governor of Lifire City didn't have any weaknesses? What if Di Tian, the supervisory commander, wanted to do things seriously? After the matter with Xia Ho happened, Yin Qiu regretted it. So it turned out that it was useless for him to express his stance. Di Tian still did what he wanted to do and was extremely decisive. Yin Qiu had offended Di Tian for no reason, and in the future, he had to tuck his tail between his legs. If not, who knew if Di Tian would be jealous and deal with him like how he dealt with Xia Ho one day. After that, the Emperor Pavilion's development was naturally a matter of time. The Emperor Pavilion started to recruiting experts from all over the world. The treatment they offered was extremely good. After all, the Emperor Pavilion could afford it now. Just the amount of tributes the Emperor Pavilion saved was enough to nurture many experts. As the Emperor Pavilion expanded, they gradually returned the people of the other powers to them while their own people took over. As time flowed by, the Emperor Pavilion gradually gained control of the entire industry. Also, everyone knew that this was only the beginning. Just like what everyone expected, with the support of the Realm Lord and the exemption of taxes, in addition to Di Tian's position as the supervisory commander, no one in Lifire City dared to not open the door of convenience. In just a few years, the Emperor Pavilion has already become a hegemonic power. Their businesses expanded to the various regions of Lifire City, including the northern regions where Qin Wentian and the Jialan clan were located. The Jialan clan strongly supported Di Tian's arrival. They have always maintained a very friendly relationship with Di Tian, and it was the same for Di Tian as well. Jialan Chuyue would often go to the Emperor Pavilion to chat with Di Tian. In fact, the Jialan clan would even personally pay a visit, hinting at the relationship between Di Tian and Jialan Chuyue, wanting to form a marriage alliance. However, although Di Tian's relationship with Jialan Chuyue was very close, he still acted dumb with regards to the hints from the Jialan clan and didn't express his stance. This caused Jialan Chuyue to look at him with a look of hidden bitterness in her eyes. Di Tian couldn't bear to see such a beautiful woman looking at him with such a gaze. His hatred for the Jialan clan gradually grew weaker. Naturally, this was an exception for the Jialan monarch. He wouldn't forget Yi Qianyu, who was still imprisoned in the lifelong Saint Hall just because of Jialan Chuyue's friendly actions. If it wasn't for the Jialan monarch, many things wouldn't have happened. Every time the Jialan clan exchanged flirtatious glances with Di Tian, the people of the Mo clan were extremely anxious. They urged Mo Junyi to get closer to Di Tian. They mustn't let Jialan Chuyue beat them to it. Mo Junyi was just a young miss of a noble clan. How could she bear to take the initiative to stick close to Di Tian? At most, she would act as if they were close to each other. Time flowed by day, the Emperor Pavilion changed day by day. However, to the vast Lifire Palace, this little bit of change wasn't enough to reach the apex. As long as the Lifire Palace was still sitting in its original position, the Lifire Palace would forever be the same as before. There wasn't much of a difference. Compared to Di Tian and the Emperor Pavilion's high-profile rise, Qin Wentian, who was also famous in Lifelong City back then, was much more low-profile. He was the same as before, silently cultivating, as though he wasn't interested in anything happening in the outside world. The Jialan clan also sent people to invite Qin Wentian several times, wanting to ease their relationship and resolve their conflicts. However, they didn't even manage to see Qin Wentian. Some people guessed that maybe Qin Wentian wasn't in the governor's manor at all and had been tempering himself outside. After all, no one in the northern city regions would dare to cause trouble. With Qin Wentian's fame and the example of the ancient river auction house from back then, in addition to the fact that the Jialan clan didn't intend to continue fighting against Qin Wentian, who would still dare to cause trouble. Naturally, every 10 years, when the Liefire Empyrean came to pay tribute, Qin Wentian would always appear on time. Compared to Di Tian, Qin Wentian gave the Liefire Empyrean a lot of face. Just like in the lifelong Saint Hall, his performance was remarkable. Even if the Liefire Empyrean was suspicious of him, it wouldn't be good for him to do anything to Qin Wentian. Maybe, the thoughts between him and Qin Wentian would fade away with time. Regardless of Di Tian or Qin Wentian, from the Liefire Empyrean's point of view, their behavior was very normal. Di Tian was praised by the Realm Lord and enjoyed special privileges in the Liefire Palace. It was very normal for him to act in a high-profile manner, and there were even times when Di Tian didn't give the Liefire Empyrean any face. The Liefire Empyrean would also do things according to Di Tian's personality. In any case, there was no true conflict between the two of them. Even if Di Tian really obtained the Realm Lord's favor in the future and stood at a certain height, it wouldn't affect the Liefire Empyrean at all. Hence, the Liefire Empyrean was very lenient towards Di Tian. Di Tian couldn't help but to admit this point. Qin Wentian was also very normal. Because of his relationship with Yi Qianyu, in addition to the fact that Qin Wentian went against the Liefire Empyrean's orders to head to Lifelong City, Qin Wentian was very clear that the Liefire Empyrean was wary of him. Hence, he kept a low profile and didn't show any sharpness. The river of time would never stop flowing. Unknowingly, tens of years passed. In these tens of years, Liefire City was still the same as before. However, a new supreme power was born in Liefire City, the Emperor Pavilion. After tens of years of development, the Emperor Pavilion had truly grown into a terrifying power. The businesses of the Emperor Pavilion could be found all over Liefire City. They weren't limited to a single region. They had a terrifying supply chain in each of the 5 regions. Right now, the businesses of the Emperor Pavilion were no longer limited to auction houses and transaction pavilions. In fact, they had already expanded to inns, as well as taking on missions to forge weapons and inscribe formations. The experts in the Emperor Pavilion had already far surpassed a governor's manor. Such a large business naturally required a lot of manpower to support it. And given how powerful the Emperor Pavilion was, they had sufficient wealth and resources to recruit people. If Di Tian got married and took a wife, children and grandchildren, the Emperor Pavilion would definitely become a supreme aristocrat clan 1,000 years later. Hence, during these years, Di Tian encountered many things that made him speechless. Many major powers would send their young misses to the Emperor Pavilion. It was simply like they were here for a blind date. In fact, even if Di Tian didn't officially marry them, it was fine if he only wanted to take them as his concubines. After encountering such situations many times, Di Tian directly refused to meet them again. This caused many people to be puzzled. Grandmaster Di was already famous and accomplished, why was he so distant from women? One must know that leaving aside Jialan Chuyue, who was a peak-level beauty, even the young miss of the Mo clan, Mo Junyi, was also a rare beauty. Also, the young misses they sent to the Emperor Pavilion, which one of them wasn't talented and beautiful? Would they dare to send ordinary women to the Emperor Pavilion? For other people with Di Tian's level of achievements, it was very normal for them to have many beauties around them. But Grandmaster Di actually didn't accept any of them. Even if he didn't marry or take concubines, the other powers wouldn't have any objections even if he kept them by his side. As long as Di Tian accepted them, they would at least have the status of a concubine, right? Could it be that Grandmaster Di already had someone in his heart? If not, why didn't he even want to marry the young miss of the Jialan clan? Today, the headquarters of the Emperor Pavilion in the central city regions had already expanded by an unknown number of times and was incomparably resplendent. The courtyard Di Tian was in was exquisitely decorated. Every step he took, there was a scenery. This was personally arranged by Mo Junyi. Right now, this place was no longer a place where just anyone could enter easily. Even peak-stage immortal emperors had to report their arrival. However, at this moment, there was a female in the courtyard. She was incomparably beautiful and exuded a noble aura. This female was none other than Jelan Chuyue. Chuyue, why are you so free to come here? Di Tian smiled. I encountered some troublesome matters and came here to take a walk. Jelan Chuyue's gaze was filled with hidden bitterness when she stared at Di Tian. During these tens of years, their relationship was already very close. Is that so? Tell me about it. Di Tian sat in front of Jelan Chuyue. Do you still remember the Xianyuan clan you met tens of years ago in Lifelong City? Jelan Chuyue asked. I naturally remember. The Xianyuan clan is so powerful and they even have a world palace lord. How could I forget about them? Di Tian laughed. Someone from the Xianyuan clan came to Lifelong City to propose marriage, wanting a young genius from the Xianyuan clan to form a marriage alliance with my Jelan clan. Isn't it the son of Xianyuan Hao who came earlier? He's even more outstanding compared to him. Jelan Chuyue's beautiful eyes stared at Di Tian as she spoke, feeling trepidation in her heart. In truth, there was no such thing. She was just making things up. Oh, he wants to marry you. Di Tian started as he asked. Upon seeing the shock on Di Tian's face, Jelan Chuyue's heart stirred. She seriously nodded her head as a hint of anticipation could be seen in her eyes. Chuyue, congratulations. This is such a good thing, why are you so troubled? Di Tian suddenly laughed as he spoke in an extremely serious manner. Jelan Chuyue's beautiful eyes froze as she stared at Di Tian in a daze. Di Tian didn't seem to be joking. Congratulations. Good thing. Her clan had hinted to Di Tian many times, but after so many years, Di Tian still didn't express his stance. She finally mustered her courage and listened to her clan's suggestion, putting down her pride and even lying. Just to exchange for a sentence of congratulations? At this moment, Jelan Chuyue only felt incomparably wronged. Her pride and self-esteem were all trampled on. Di Tian, you bastard. This was the first time Jelan Chuyue cursed. After that, she turned and ran away, her eyes red, leaving behind a dumbfounded Di Tian. Chapter 1639. In an ordinary-looking courtyard in the lifelong Saint Hall, Yi Qianyu quietly laid there, exuding a sense of laziness. Her alluring figure was extremely alluring. During these tens of years, she and some other maidens of the Red Dust Immortal Palace had been imprisoned in the lifelong Saint Hall, unable to go out. Occasionally, when the lifelong Realm Lord was in the mood, he would summon them for a dance. Although they didn't really have to do any chores, it was better to let them do chores than to treat them like dancers. Sometimes, Yi Qianyu also wanted to resist, but she knew what sort of existence the lifelong Realm Lord was. If one dared to resist his orders in the lifelong Saint Hall, a single word from him would be enough to kill you. But she still wanted to see a certain person grow. She wanted to see how many more years the lifelong Realm Lord could admire their dances. Every once in a while, Qin Wentian's voice would ring out in Yi Qianyu's mind. That was the motivation for her to continue living. She knew that there had always been someone worrying about her. Although her messaging crystal had been confiscated and she had no way to reply, Qin Wentian knew that she could hear his voice. Even if she couldn't reply, Qin Wentian would still frequently chat with her. Naturally, Qin Wentian was the one speaking and she was the one listening. At this moment, the sound of footsteps rang out. Yi Qianyu was still lying there lazily. She opened her eyes and stared at the person who came. She saw a face that wasn't in any way inferior to her own. It was as cold as ice and his black hair cascaded down like a waterfall. You are here. Yi Qianyu lazily spoke. Sit. Does he know that the lifelong Realm Lord is treating you like this? Princess Kitamura's cold voice rang out. During these years, she had always been in the lifelong Saint Hall. The lifelong Realm Lord personally gave the order to keep her here. How could the Life-Ire Empyrean disobey? From then on, she stayed in the lifelong Saint Hall. Many people said that she, Princess Kitamura, had become the lifelong Realm Lord's trusted aide. There were also rumors that the lifelong Realm Lord was interested in Princess Kitamura. Naturally, such rumors wouldn't reach her ears. No one would dare to do so. Even now, Baiming Yuhuang still didn't know the reason. She knew that Qin Wentian had displayed extraordinary talent during the banquet in the lifelong realm. He single-handedly challenged the Empyrean governors and monarchs of the 8 world palaces and defeated them all. She didn't understand why from then on, the lifelong Realm Lord would summon her here. At the same time, he would frequently make Yi Qianyu dance. This was a form of disrespect to Yi Qianyu. It was impossible for the lifelong Realm Lord to not know about this. In addition, back then, the reason why Qin Wentian went out to battle was because of Yi Qianyu. The lifelong Realm Lord also understood this. But why would he do this? Princess Kitamura wasn't clear about this. She had no way to guess the lifelong Realm Lord's thoughts. It was hard to guess what major characters were thinking. I don't even have my messaging crystal. How would he know? Yi Qianyu smiled, her grace didn't diminish at all. In that case, do you know why the Realm Lord did this? Princess Kitamura asked again. Even you don't understand why he made you stay here. How would I know? Yi Qianyu stared at Princess Kitamura. Clearly, this wasn't the first time the two of them chatted. Maybe it's because your dance is too beautiful and the Realm Lord is infatuated with it. However, everyone in the lifelong realm knows that the reason he went out to battle back then was because of you. The Realm Lord wouldn't want to snatch your love away. Hence, he only made you dance for him to watch. Princess Kitamura calmly spoke. If not, she truly couldn't think of any other reasons. You didn't ask him. Yi Qianyu smiled. Princess Kitamura started. It has been a very long time since she contacted Qin Wentian. Could it be that you want to tell him about your encounter here? Princess Kitamura asked. You didn't ask him because the moment you did, he would surely find out about my situation and know of my encounter. He would hate the lifelong Realm Lord and might do something impulsive, causing a calamity to befall him. Hence, you would rather not tell him that you are here in the lifelong Saint Hall. Yi Qianyu's beautiful eyes stared at Princess Kitamura as she smiled. You like him, right? Princess Kitamura's beautiful eyes froze. After that, she stood up and turned to leave. Upon seeing this scene, Yi Qianyu smiled. Back then, for the sake of you, he has already acted against you once. Hence, you don't dare to tell him. You are afraid that he would act impulsively again for the sake of me. Baiming Yuhuang didn't halt her steps. She directly left the area and swiftly vanished from sight. Yi Qianyu stared at her back as she mumbled, You must have ravaged quite a number of females in Lifeire City, right? Right now, Qin Wentian wasn't in Lifeire City. Right now, he was strolling around Heavenly City. The Thousand Feathers Palace of the past had already become the territory of others and was currently open for business. Upon seeing Qin Wentian entering, the beautiful serving girl couldn't help but smile when she saw his extraordinary demeanor. Sir, what do you want? I can recommend something. I'm just taking a walk around casually. Qin Wentian smiled. His originally handsome face was exceptionally mesmerizing when he smiled. The beautiful serving girl stared at him in a daze as her heart pounded. Right now, Qin Wentian's demeanor was simply too attractive. One could tell that he was an extraordinary character with a single glance. Okay, I will bring Sir around. The serving girl gently smiled. No need, I can just walk around by myself. Qin Wentian smiled and walked away. The serving girl had a look of disappointment on her face as she stared at Qin Wentian's back. Qin Wentian came to the inner palace of the Thousand Feathers Palace. However, the appearance of this place had already changed. He walked all the way to a tall platform in the backyard and stared at this majestic city that resembled a dragon's vein. Who is it? Someone coldly spoke. After that, several immortal emperors appeared here, coldly staring at Qin Wentian. Sir, this place is private property, you are not allowed to barge in. Sorry, I've stayed here before. Hence, I'm just taking a walk around. Qin Wentian smiled. Those people could sense Qin Wentian's extraordinary demeanor, but they couldn't see through his cultivation base. Hence, they couldn't help but feel hesitant in their hearts. Right now, Qin Wentian spoke again, I'll just take a seat and leave. I won't do anything else. Sorry for the disturbance. After speaking, Qin Wentian sat down as though there was no one else here. He took out a flask of wine and started to drink alone. The image of Yi Qianyu in the past flashed in his mind. Right now, he wondered how Yi Qianyu was doing. Those people left, but they didn't go too far away. They stood outside and stared at Qin Wentian. A light breeze blew by, the wine didn't intoxicate him. Qin Wentian was the same as Yi Qianyu in the past. He laid there lazily and stared at the majestic city, exuding a sense of loneliness. The supreme ancient immortal realms were boundlessly vast, he had met many people here. However, the person who left the deepest impression in his mind was naturally Yi Qianyu. Maybe, there was also Yu Huang. However, she couldn't be considered someone from the supreme ancient immortal realms. Are you doing well? At this moment, a voice rang out in his mind. Qin Wentian almost thought that he was hearing things. He couldn't help but to start. After that, he took out his messaging crystal and sent his immortal sense in. He found a strand of immortal sense and asked, Yu Huang. How are you? The gentle voice rang out again. A smile appeared in Qin Wentian's eyes. I was just thinking about you, I didn't expect you to send me a message so quickly. I'm doing well, but what about you? Where did the Lifeire Empyrean arrange for you? I can't see you every time I go to the Lifeire Palace. I'm in the Lifelong Saint Hall. Princess Kitamura spoke in a light voice. Qin Wentian's eyes narrowed. He placed the wine flask down and slowly sat up. He asked, why are you in the Lifelong Saint Hall? When did this happen? Back then, after you displayed your brilliance in Lifelong City, the Lifelong Realm Lord transferred me to the Lifelong Saint Hall. From then on, I've been staying there. The Lifeire Empyrean also severed all contact with me. It's like I suddenly became someone of the Lifelong Saint Hall. Princess Kitamura spoke in a light voice. From her tone, one could tell that she didn't know the reason. Qin Wentian's heart pounded violently. Many thoughts flashed through his mind. He thought of the Gemini Palace Lord, he thought of ancient Emperor Yi. There was only one possibility for the Lifelong Realm Lord to know Princess Kitamura. It was because of Qin Wentian. The Lifelong Realm Lord investigated him and felt that Qin Wentian was the disciple of ancient Emperor Yi. And back then, he and Princess Kitamura appeared in Jialan Emperor City as fellow apprentice brother and sister. Because of this, the Lifelong Realm Lord transferred Princess Kitamura to the Lifelong Saint Hall. Did the Lifelong Realm Lord ask you anything? For example, the relationship between us and our sect? Qin Wentian asked. Princess Kitamura fell silent for a moment, as though she was thinking. After that, she replied, sometimes, when we chatted, I don't know if it was a hint or not. But I didn't ask for more details. Qin Wentian fell silent. A moment later, he asked again, have you met Yi Qianyu before? I've been waiting for you to ask. Princess Kitamura immediately replied, not long ago, I met her. I don't know why, but the Lifelong Realm Lord doesn't respect her at all. Although he didn't make things difficult for her, he would often make her dance for him. Qin Wentian's expression instantly changed, becoming somewhat unsightly to behold. In the battle back then, he fought for Yi Qianyu. Everyone knew this, including the Realm Lord. However, the Realm Lord did this not only because he didn't respect Yi Qianyu, he also didn't care about him, Qin Wentian. Naturally, the lofty Realm Lord truly didn't need to care about his existence. So what if his talent was outstanding? After all, he was merely an immortal emperor. I only told you this now because I was afraid you would be impulsive. Yi Qianyu said that she believes in you and that you wouldn't be the same as before. Princess Kitamura slowly spoke. Qin Wendian started again. He thought back then when he went to the Jialan Emperor's city because of Princess Kitamura, it directly caused Yi Qianyu to be captured. From then on, Princess Kitamura was also confined to the Lifefire Palace. And now, she was sent to the lifelong Saint Hall. I will take note. Qin Wendian drew in a deep breath as he transmitted his voiceover. I'll be leaving then. Take care of yourself. Princess Kitamura muttered to herself for a moment before her voice rang out. Yu Huang, you too. If anything happens in the lifelong Saint Hall, tell me immediately. Qin Wendian replied. Princess Kitamura didn't reply. Qin Wendian kept his messaging crystal and stared into the distance. Abruptly, a powerful coldness gushed forth from him, instantly enveloping this entire space. Those who were staring at him from the outside only felt fear in their hearts as they felt an incomparably heavy pressure. A beam of light flashed as that silhouette directly vanished from sight. After he vanished, numerous silhouettes flickered over, appearing at the location where Qin Wendian left. They exchanged glances as they spoke in a low voice, that person is so terrifying. Chapter 1640. Bastard, he actually dared to act as a bandit to kill him. He had to pay any price to kill him. At this instant, the subordinates of the Jialan monarch were all stunned. In fact, they even forgot about the battle, they forgot everything. Only to see several figures descending from the sky. All of them were wearing special masks, their faces couldn't be seen clearly. There were actually 3 immortal emperors among them, while the others were all immortal kings. One must know that as one of the 9 monarchs of the Lifefire Palace, his strength was extremely powerful. Even if the Jialan clan used some tricks, if he wasn't strong enough, no matter how much support the Jialan clan gave him, it would be impossible for him to ascend to the throne. How could someone who was too weak be able to guard such a vast territory? Even a random bandit wouldn't be able to deal with him. That mid-stage immortal emperor instantly took out his messaging crystal and sent a message in, Monarch, there are bandits trying to plunder the mine. However, the bandit leader's saber didn't stop. This saber slashed through the void. When it slashed out, the Jialan monarch only felt his soul being lacerated as he groaned in misery. After that, he saw the bandit leader walking over. The bandit leader stretched his hand out and made a grabbing motion in the air. This grab was like the hand of a devil king of darkness. Back then, the grudge between the Jialan monarch and Qin Wendian caused a terrifying storm. Qin Wendian and the evil emperor slaughtered their way into the emperor palace, killing many experts there. The Jialan monarch's power was damaged and he was no longer regarded as highly by his clan. In addition to the pressure from the Lifefire Empyrean, he had been living a very unhappy life during these years. The expression of the Jialan monarch instantly turned incomparably heavy. The demonic white snake arced through the air, instantly appearing above the bandit leader. It opened its jaws wide, wanting to devour the bandit leader in a single gulp. The Jialan monarch died. Someone who wants your life. At this instant, the eyes of the bandit leader flashed with terrifying lightning sabers, directly shooting into the eyes of the Jialan monarch, aiming for his soul. Boom! The space trembled. The Jialan monarch felt like he was being held in the palm of a devil king. He struggled madly, his eyes were cold to the extreme as he stared fixedly at the bandit leader. He roared in rage, "Who are you?" The Jialan monarch furrowed his brows. Staring at the other party's reaction, he faintly sensed that the other party was clearly waiting for him to come. At this moment, many people felt their hairs stand on end. Had this world gone mad? Even bandits were so crazy. The expression of the guardian below was as pale as paper. But at this moment, a resplendent spatial energy gushed over as a terrifying aura erupted over. A voice rang out, "Who dares to behave atrociously in my territory?" The bandit leader acted as though he didn't see anything. He took a step out, causing the heavens and earth to rumble as a tyrannical might engulfed the area. Beams of saber light flashed through the air, akin to black lightning, directly slashing the demonic beasts into pieces. In the darkness, a white bolt of lightning shot towards the Jialan monarch. Demonic scales appeared on the bandit leader's arms as he punched out, manifesting a gigantic snake that danced in the air. "You are!" the Jelon monarch roared. However, with a thunderous boom, that terrifying palm imprint of darkness directly slammed together, suppressing everything. The Jelon monarch's body trembled violently as fresh blood gushed out. He directly shut his mouth as his face turned ashen. His eyes were filled with despair as he stared at the bandit leader, filled with boundless terror and rage. At this instant, the Jelon monarch wanted to take out his messaging crystal and report the identity of the bandit leader. However, it was already too late. He was filled with deep despair. Boom! Boundless destructive energy gushed forth, the Jelon monarch was about to be completely destroyed. Before he died, he suddenly thought of many things. He thought of the past. He was a genius of the Jelon clan and was heavily nurtured by the clan. The clan arranged for him to seize the position of the Lifire Palace's monarch, giving him a lofty position. His authority towered up into the sky and he could control the life and death of many people. In addition, countless terrifying resources flowed through his hands. "If you all leave now, I can just treat this as a misunderstanding." The sky was blue, the sky was clear for 10,000 miles. A light breeze blew by, causing people to feel extremely comfortable. However, the people of the heavenly meteor mine were all extremely tense. The day of opening was always an extremely important day, there was no room for mistakes. Everyone was on high alert. Although the probability of bandits appearing was extremely low, there was still a possibility. Hence, no one dared to be careless. After speaking, he inclined his head and stared at everyone in the air. "Everyone, this is the heavenly meteor mine under the jurisdiction of the Jelon monarch. If anything happens to this mine, the Jelon monarch would definitely not let this matter rest. In addition, there's still the Lifire Empyrean above. The price of robbing this mine isn't something you all can afford. If you all leave now, I'll treat this as a misunderstanding." Although the Lifire Empyrean and the Jelon monarch weren't on the same side, killing a monarch was definitely a great taboo. However, this bandit leader actually dared to kill one of the 9 monarchs, the Jelon monarch, in front of everyone. However, at this moment, the Jelon monarch was actually so weak in front of this bandit leader. From this, one could very well imagine how powerful this bandit leader was. All of them were filled with terror as they stared at the corpse on the ground, as well as the figure who killed the Jelon monarch. Was this person crazy? He actually dared to kill a monarch. Could it be that he didn't know the consequences of his actions? This world would no longer be able to tolerate him. Even the Jelon monarch couldn't deal with these bandits. How terrifying were these bandits? The immortal emperor standing in the center waved his hand. A moment later, a group of people directly rushed over. A terrifying aura gushed forth, exuding a terrifying pressure. At this moment, the Jelon monarch seemed to have guessed who this person was. He screamed madly in his heart. It's him who wants to kill me." The Jelon monarch was very angry, he was truly angry. Back then, it was precisely because of a group of bandits that he, the Jelon monarch, became a laughing stock. His son was killed and his clan no longer valued him. And now, these bandits actually dared to appear in his territory. "Who are you? Don't you know that bandits will be hunted down endlessly?" The Jelon monarch coldly spoke. His eyes directly pierced through space, staring into the eyes of the bandit leader. However, the eyes of the bandit leader were extremely terrifying, incomparably deep. There was no reaction at all. Another thunderous boom rang out. The Jelon monarch's entire body was on the verge of exploding. His entire body was dyed red with blood and he was only left with a single breath. His eyes were still filled with malice as he stared at the bandit leader who killed him. He was in high spirits, his life was moving towards glory. If he wanted wind, he would get wind. There was nothing he couldn't obtain. "You." He wanted to say something but it was too late. The destructive attack slammed down once more. The Jelon monarch was finally completely killed as his body powerlessly fell from the air. The monarch has arrived. The experts guarding the mine felt extremely excited. They only saw the Jialan monarch personally leading a group of experts over, exuding an intense pressure. The Jialan monarch's body flashed with a bright light as a dragon snake coiled in the air, exuding a demonic aura. His eyes were also extremely demonic as he stared at the bandit leader. As the sound of his voice faded, everyone instantly moved, getting into formation and guarding the mine. All of them inclined their heads and stared at the sky as though they were facing a great enemy. Have you guys gone mad? A mid-stage immortal emperor under the Jialan monarch cursed. A resplendent light radiated from him as he soared up into the air, killing his way towards the bandit leader. This bandit leader was clad in a mysterious robe, exuding an extremely cold aura, tyrannical like a devil. If not, given how powerful this bandit leader was, he basically didn't need to be a bandit. He could just directly go to the Lifefire Palace and he would be able to get a good job. Today, the heavenly meteorite mine was opened. Today, experts were as common as the clouds. A mid-stage immortal emperor and 2 initial-stage immortal emperors were personally guarding the mine. However, the bandit leader didn't feel any fear at all. He stared at the Jialan monarch as his eyes gleamed with coldness. He had no thoughts of fleeing at all. The bandit leader didn't reply to him, only a terrifying killing intent radiated from him. The people below all turned pale when they saw the Jialan monarch being controlled by the bandit leader. This bandit leader was like a devil god, unexcelled in the world. Even the Jialan monarch wasn't a match for him. They could faintly sense that doomsday had arrived. The Jialan monarch, one of the 9 monarchs under the Lifefire Palace, was actually killed by the bandit leader. In the depths of the heavenly meteorite mine, a group of people continued to hand over their oars. At this moment, the mid-stage immortal emperor suddenly frowned. After that, his eyes abruptly opened as he stared at the sky. An extremely cold gaze pierced through the air as he coldly spoke, "There are bandits." He could faintly sense that this unexcelled bandit leader wasn't here for the mine but for him, the Jialan monarch. He wanted to use the identity of a bandit to plunder the mine before luring the Jialan monarch here to hunt him down. A black bolt of lightning flashed, akin to the saber of a devil king. It cleaved apart the space, directly slicing the white snake apart. The Jialan monarch's expression drastically changed. He took out a divine weapon and slashed it forward. A moment later, tens of thousands of demonic beasts rushed out, rushing towards the bandit leader. Kill! The mid-stage immortal emperor instantly rushed over. His towering sword intent slashed towards the bandit leader. However, the bandit leader directly slashed out a beam of saber light. This saber light seemed capable of cleaving apart the heavens and earth, tearing apart the void. In an instant, a bloody wound appeared in the center of the mid-stage immortal emperor's brows. After that, the wound continued to seep downwards. In an instant, that mid-stage immortal emperor died. However, he didn't expect that his life would change so quickly. Just when he was feeling complacent, everything suddenly changed. He encountered those fellows who caused him to be consigned to eternal damnation. The bandit leader was definitely the bandit leader. However, this didn't affect the Jialan monarch's control over the resources. In this vast region, there were many mines being mined. The 3 main mines, Quicksand Mine, Heavenly Meteorite Mine and Violet Cloud Mine, had the tightest security. Experts were as common as clouds, with immortal emperors personally guarding them. Go to hell! A cold voice rang out. The terrifying Devil King Palm of Darkness erupted forth with boundless destructive might. The Jialan monarch screamed in agony as his entire body convulsed violently. His insides were being destroyed unceasingly. He could feel the fearsome destructive might from the palm imprint. The Jialan monarch glared hatefully at the bandit leader.